Title for tonight is Quest Hook Sunday Night. Party of Two takes on Dino Lizard Island.
Question mark.
Question mark? I'm going to do it in Terrobang. Question mark, exclamation point. How about that? So that way it's incredulous. Like, Party of Two takes on Dino Lizard Island?
Exactly. That's exactly how I wanted it to sound.
Seems like this cold's going around.
Yeah, I don't know. Carrie's been coughing.
Tell her if it's bronchitis that there's literally nothing. It takes 7 days to work through your system. It's just a pain in the butt.
I don't know if it is, but
17.
Alrighty. So how we doing, John?
We're going. We're streaming. We're living and we're
Oh
grooving.
shit. Oh man. I pooped the web. Here we go. It's that time again, right?
It is. I think it is time to Quest Hook?
Yeah, it's nearly 8 o'clock. It's time to Quest Hook.
Is it though?
Oh, you know it is.
It is.
Hold on. Oh, give me 1 second. We will get this party rolling.
So apparently it was not quite time.
Good
But it
God.
was.
So everybody, welcome back. If anyone's here, I don't think anyone's like following us close enough to be here already. But if you're just here by happenstance, this is Quest Hook. We do this every Sunday night. Tonight's going to be a bit of a weird session. It's just going to be me and BN as the players, with Timmy Tom DMing as usual, as we are missing two party members due to life. So let's see what happens.
What a pathetic excuse.
Well, I mean, one of them did just have a baby, so I'm going to give him a pass.
I suppose so.
Well, how about when you have a baby, I force you to be on here?
I will hold you to it.
Yeah, let's see how the missus feels about you going on the D&D Sunday nights when there's a baby to take care of.
Oh, taken care of spectacularly.
I'm
It will
sure.
learn how to play D&D from day one.
I'm sure your balls will not be immediately punched.
It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be the best D&D player ever.
I have thought about that. Like if I ever have babies, that kid is doomed
Sorry.
to nerdiness. Oh, hey, what's up?
Family.
Hey, what's up, fam?
I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, children of young ages. We don't like old people, so
No,
they're not
just-
allowed. You're over the age of 12. Just leave now.
Oh God. Like, all right,
Yeah.
I guess I'm out.
Oh yeah, and it's mature content only.
That's a weird
If you're
twist.
under the age of 18, please leave now as well. So, broadcasting to nobody. Welcome to the Quest Hook, right?
I think
It's
it's
the Quest Hook. It's October Quest Hook. Finally,
Yeah, it is actually.
time for October Quest Hook.
I love a good October quest.
Might have been discussed already. We are down a few players.
I did. The
One of them
announcement
is
of
traveling to the Americas to the south.
Machu Picchu.
and the other
Yes,
had the baby
Yeah, the other is Baby Bjorn
with
Baby
child.
with, well, I mean,
Like
his wife was
he
with
has
child.
a child.
He's-
Probably.
they
in
have
his
a
arms.
kid. Yeah,
He's walking around with a child.
that's true. Well, maybe not walking. I don't know.
That's true. Hopefully she's asleep by now.
But tonight, our party of two, a different party of two this time, will continue. Last week we did a little, in the dark type of scenario where we didn't have anything broadcast. Do apologize for that.
Yeah, basically I was sick, so it's on me, guys. And when I'm sick, we don't stream because I'm the one who does the streaming.
Yeah, because John does all the work. So
No, I just fucking hit a button.
well,
every
you
stream.
do all the streaming work.
Yeah, that's the easy stuff.
Take credit where when I say
Gateholder.
just take it.
That's fair. That's
I don't give it off often.
TY.
Just take it.
TY.
All right, so we've got a party two tonight. We shall introduce ourselves. I'm Tom. I'm your GM. Mostly adequate, sometimes terrible, sometimes pretty good, but usually pretty bad. So
Oh.
adequate it is. I will be taking care of Billy Bob to some extent. I will also be taking care of Ringo and Josh Brolin.
Guest star.
Guest star Josh Brolin.
Yeah, guys, everyone should know. Actually, I'm going to put that in the title for tonight. I think everyone should know that we have Josh
Brolin's
Brolin.
here.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin.
Part of your two takes on Dino Lizard Island featuring
Josh
special
Brolin, the
guest,
pirate.
Pirate Josh
Josh
Brolin.
Pirate Josh Brolin.
He's acting as a pirate tonight.
Mm-hmm. He is a pirate, actually. So pirate Josh Brolin. And then we have Bien.
What's up, guys? It's Bien, playing our resident fighter, Fao Yuan. And as such, being the man of many halves, is one half of the party of two tonight.
Ooh, yeah, he
Hey,
is.
look at that.
Even more
Good
halves.
wordplay.
Damn. So many halves.
Also, what's wrong with
Oh.
just saying like half elf, half black? Like, just you could just summarize it like that.
Well, what's the other half, though? He could be half elf, half orc.
Yeah, it's
Well,
got to be specific.
Black's the only humans are the only creatures that bother
That's not true.
dictating if they're black or not.
Well, I mean, do you spend much time in gnome society?
Usually half elves.
I mean,
aren't
the elves
half
are really not fond of their black
human.
kin.
or half gnome.
Yeah.
I mean,
half elf.
the
If you
elves
say
have
half
elf,
elf, the
kin
race
they talk about.
itself is half human. That is.
Oh, but if you're half drow, they've already made a destination there, right? As the half. So if you're half drow, I mean,
But
we're getting
he's
into all sorts of
specifically half elf, so just black half elf
and half human.
black half
Mhm.
elf. That's all you need to say.
But he's not a
'Cause
dark
half
elf.
elf. That's
That can be
true. I guess
confusing.
black half elf could be like, ooh, you're like Drizzit.
Yeah, it's like no,
Yeah,
like no.
Yeah, exactly.
fair.
I'm
fair
not
enough.
gray.
So he's half human, half black guy, half elf,
half everything,
half
half the
of
party,
this party.
Exactly.
halfway around the world, right?
Yep, halfway around the world.
Actually, you're kind of getting closer to where you started, huh? Verdun, isn't that like the goal?
He's never been there.
Oh, that's true. You
So-
started in Feldar, which
Yeah,
is
I started.
a ways away.
But continuing with our introduction, John.
Sorry, I just took over BN's by accident. John here, playing Wizard Elvailna. Want to know you've already heard enough of me, Elven Wizard extraordinaire, with his trusty accompaniment, Terry the Familiar, who likes to have a good time with everybody. And
Yeah,
Wizard
and
El
I
is
think
here.
Terry is hanging out aboard, right?
I mean, if we're
or is
exploring,
with you guys.
Yeah, if we're exploring, Terry is absolutely with me.
All right. So last week, Ben, do you want to do a recap for us? You've written one so nicely for our
Yes.
D&D group here. and
Here's
sent it
another
around.
behind the curtain for the folks. Every week, BN writes a wonderful recap of everything we do, and then he gets to read it for all of you.
And then we get some Mithril moments too, as like an insight into how Faluan's feeling about things.
Oh yeah, we get to like
So-
have a little psychiatry session with Faluan
It's very cathartic.
for a fictional character.
But yes, previously on Quest Hook. As the Griffin Riders descend upon the Rancid, our heroes quickly learn how much the elves want Ringo dead. The battle is arduous and bloody as Ringo is severely injured, taking an arrow through the cheek. Fayu and Kenny and Billy Bob do their best to hold their ground and defend the Rancid as they escape from the galleons in the distance. While Kenny does his best to deter the Elven Riders, Falyuan does his best to take out the Griffins themselves. Billy Bob taps into the power of his god Gobetta to keep Ringo alive, to the surprise and horror of many of the witnessing sailors. The battle seems dire, but eventually turns in their favor when Falyuan and a few sailors down a Griffin. The other Griffin Riders then try to descend and rescue their ally. Ringo, in all his livid fury, seizes the opportunity to turn the ship around and aim his cannons at the group to Kenny's horror. While Ringo's initial shot misses, Falyuan aids in the second, which batters through the Griffin party and sets them to retreat, leaving their allies to drown. The Rancid swiftly flees. That evening, the crew is unsettled by Billy Bob's aggressive use of healing. Our heroes do their best to explain what's been going on in the world. While some are accepting and worried, Ringo is more than happy to be alive amidst the chaos. Everyone sleeps soundly that night as they set sail for Verdun despite the storm closing in the distance from the north. On the 5th of Minkay, we find that the storm has blown the Rancid off course. Ringo has trouble navigating through the cloudy day, but spies an island to the north and insists that they set anchor for the time being until they can chart their whereabouts using astronavigation at night. He also makes a deal with our gang and explains that while he'll take them to Verdun in exchange for defending the ship, any other expeditions such as going inland to the island for supplies, he'll split findings and treasures 70-30 since he has more crew to manage. As the gang head to the island on longboats to procure supplies, they spy curious creatures in the distance. At first glance, they seem like large birds, but upon further inspection turn out to be historic creatures called tetradons, bird-like reptiles with long beaks and leather-like wings with impressive wingspans. Upon reaching shore, the entire party splits into two, with some staying behind to set up camp with the longboats as the other goes into the explore unknown island. As they chart their way west, the sand is fine and gray, and the temperature is surprisingly humid despite the oncoming winter. But the boys manage to make their way inland following sets of tracks, both humanoids and otherwise, passing handcrafted canoes in the jungle to a waterfall. After procuring fresh water, and upon further inspection, Falyuan and Kenny manage to find a hidden cove behind the waterfall that leads to a stone double door adorned with ancient carvings and depictions of strange reptilian creatures. And that's where we start off.
And here we go.
Yeah, that's where we'll pick everything up tonight. So we're inside this cave mouth. It's about 30 by 30 feet. You guys can hear like there's this thundering of waterfall behind you. And it's mid-morning, so it's not too late. It's probably like 11 o'clock, 10:30, something like that. You guys have made your way through the forest. You've heard wildlife. You know, you've heard birds and rustling and other things like that. You haven't seen any of these reptilian creatures. You haven't seen any of the humanoid creatures or anything like that that are making any of these footprints. But sort of tucked away quite well behind this waterfall was this little cove, this little, room. There's roots that are sort of hanging all over the place and lots of, not lots of vines and stuff like that growing in here. And sort of like pushing past them, you guys find this stone double door that's about 10 feet wide. So each one's about 5 feet. And they're about like, a good 10 feet tall or so. Let's just pause that for 1 sec.
Hey, who's that Filbert T. Brush?
Yeah. Filbert Brush? Hello?
Hello, sir? You're muted, if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm just gonna...
I assume he's supposed to be with Nick's group.
Yep, I will go ahead and kick him. That's easy enough. I don't care whose group he's with, but not in our Discord channel.
Do you want to move to Quest Hook?
Sure, I guess so.
All right, let's do that. Why not? Boom.
There we go.
Okay. So
Much better.
we'll just hop in a different channel so that
It's all right. No
that
one
was
watching.
really bizarre.
I just found out that Commander Root guy that shows up every week, that's just a Twitch bot.
Oh, sweet. Nice. Glad we have 0 friends. Well, actually, that makes me feel a little bit better about not having to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So you guys are in this, you're in this alcove thing. You've got these 2 double doors in front of you. They're about 10 feet tall apiece. Each one is 5 feet wide. And there's, they're kind of crusted in dirt and vines. And they've got, when you clear some of the dirt and stuff away, you see they've got these depictions of these strange reptilian creatures. Some of them are like long and spiky. Some of them are kind of like tall and short. Tall and like, not very wide. Like, and, looks like they've got like big heads and stuff. And then there's also depictions of like humanoids and like jungle type island things and like vines and stuff like that. So it seems like sort of a mosaic of sorts. Neither of you guys have seen carvings like this specifically before. Also, neither of you are very much in the way of like adventurers in this sense.
No,
Like Indiana Jones style.
I'm not much of ancient ruins covered in vines, as it were.
So we'll pick it up right there. You guys are inside this area. I think it's like the 7 of you who are there. So it's going to be the 2 of you guys. We've got Falyuan and Viz. Similarly, Kenny and Walden are going to be hanging out in this alcove. Billy Bob and Josh Brolin.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you guys like to do? You found your way in here just because it's been an interesting, it's kind of an interesting find. And you've got this big door in front of you that looks like it hasn't been opened in a very long time.
No handles or anything, right?
Not that you can see.
Mm.
I mean, you haven't really investigated it too much. You can search
going-
around for them if you want to.
I'm going to.
Sure.
Is there writing on it?
Why don't you guys make me an investigation check?
I will.
You guys can make one together. Whoever's got the better
It's definitely
plus
me.
can roll with advantage, being aided by the other person.
Not the big.
So Falyuan, don't worry about your roll.
But yeah, I got a
Instead-
+8. So
Viz, go ahead and roll with an advantage
actually, I'm
for your
just
investigation.
checking if it is in fact a +8 or if it's a +7. I don't want to cheat anything. It's a +8. Okay. Whew. Yep. Whoa, nat 1. Fantastic.
Ooh, no, I said with advantage.
Yay. Fuck.
Okay, a 2 still. Your 10 is still better than Falyuan's 9.
That's fair.
So you search around on this, like this door, both of you guys. Viz, you're looking for some writing, Falyuan, you're trying to find handles and stuff. And you don't come across any script or anything like that. And Falyuan, like looking at this, you don't see any like big brass handles or anything, or big stone carved handles. You imagine this door either slides or is pushed.
I will knock to see how strong it is, and then just push.
Yeah,
the
you
center.
knock on it, and it feels like, it's definitely several inches, if not feet, of stone.
Uh-huh.
So like you knock on it, and you're like, "Yep, that's stone."
I will.
So it's not like hollow sounding.
Yeah. I will attempt to push.
All right, why don't you make me a strength check? Actually, why don't you make me one with advantage? Because Billy Bob will also come up and be like, "I'll help you out," and throw his shoulder into it too.
8.
All right, an 8.
We are not rolling well.
The door doesn't budge. You guys, it shakes a little bit of the dust off of it and stuff. And like by just kind of pushing hard on it, but you feel like you could give it a little bit more of an oomph. You have like a good like 3 tries or so before you like tucker yourself out for a few minutes.
Okay. Then after a little while, I will try again.
Yeah, go right ahead.
11.
All right, an 11. So the door budges a little bit. You feel like if the 2 of you guys can give it a real solid push.
Wait, did you say it budges a little bit?
Yeah, it budges a little bit.
I'm going to take that little bit of budge and see if we can wedge anything to help with the pushing. So now that we have like a bit of an irregularity in the 2 doors, can we like kind of wedge something to help the pushing?
Like, can you describe what you mean?
So as they're pushing the doors, is it opening in? Like the 2
Yeah,
doors
you
are
can
pushing
see-
in?
Yeah, you can see that the doors are pushing in like just, maybe an inch or so.
Yeah, so now that he's got one of them open, we can kind of like crowbar it in a way and like just kind of work on that one door that's moved a little. Or if
Yeah,
it's-
okay. Why don't you make me a strength check to try to wedge? What are you going to wedge in there?
Is there anything around like a really like sturdy looking stick that we can shove in there? Something that just like creates space.
It probably sticks or something like that. Probably you feel like won't fit um,
All right. I have
or be strong enough. It's
I
gonna have to
asked
be
one of
probably
the
something
pirates
metal.
for a spare dagger.
There are no pirates around.
Oh, then I'll just use one of my spare
It's
daggers.
just Josh Brolin.
Josh? Nah, it's fine. I have like 4 extra daggers. I'll try to jam a dagger in there to help
All right,
create
make
some
me a
space.
strength check to try to like basically kind of hammer this thing in.
-1, baby.
All right, a 4. You try to push this thing in, and it's a very small gap. So you get like the first like maybe 2 inches of the dagger in or so. You feel like it might help a little bit. You also might break your dagger.
I mean, if it'll help,
Yeah.
I'll leave it in.
All right, sounds good. So if you and Billy Bob have one more shot to try to push this thing in before you guys feel like you've exerted yourself and you're gonna have to take like a rest or something like that, like a short rest. All right. I'll give you the +1 for the dagger wedged in the door to bump that up to a 15.
Woo!
Which you feel the door starting to give way. Viz, make me a strength check.
Oh God. Yeah. Why me?
A 3. All right, Viz isn't helping.
No.
Do you guys call up the rest of the party as it's just budging?
Yeah, I call up Thanos. Let's do this.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin can make me a check with a +1.
I'll roll for him since I want to roll with a plus for once. God damn! What are these
All right,
rolls
Josh Brolin's
tonight,
not
man?
helping. Here comes Walden. Let's see if you guys can actually get into this.
Literally,
place.
the highest roll that's happened tonight was BN's 11.
That was with advantage.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got it part of the way open.
What the fuck are
You're
these rolls?
you're holding on to it, basically. So
Not a single.
after a minute or two, the door finally, not even a minute or two, after about 30 seconds of just like a solid pushing and people just sort of like ramming into it, eventually the door just kind of gives way. So dust and debris and stuff like that spill all over the place. Fayoun, you're pretty beat. You're not ready to like give up, but you're kind of tired because that was quite the endeavor.
Yeah, especially after everything that's gone on.
Yeah, and going from this really dirt and like all these vines hanging down and stuff like that, the passageway that this opens up to. Viz, are you Elven, right?
I am.
So you guys both have dark vision,
Do
right?
half elves have dark or is it low light?
We have dark.
Cool.
It's all the.
Oh yeah, there's no
was
low
also
light
surprised.
anymore.
Yeah, there's no low light anymore. They just changed that to being all the same. So, Falyuan and both of you guys can see that this tunnel that leads ahead of you, it's like there's a lot of dust and stuff that cakes the floor here. Like nobody's been in here in a really long time. And it looks like this place is really nicely constructed. The floors it looks like everything's kind of made of marble. And basically it's like a 10 by 10 perfectly square hallway. And it continues on for, as far as your sight goes, about I guess you can see probably about 120 feet, somewhere around there, until the dim light gets dark. And yeah, it sort of like continues on.
Did someone just join our thing? Oh no. What was that sound?
It's probably me unmuting.
Did
yes.
My dagger break?
Let's see. No.
Yay! I just grabbed my dagger back.
All right. So you grab your dagger back up. So you guys are standing in the midst of this now. You've got both of these doors pushed in. It's sort of, made like kind of a grinding sound. But most of that was drowned out by the really loud waterfall that's still behind you. What would you guys like to do?
I will light a torch for our pirate friends and
Oh,
Walden.
that's nice of you.
And I guess we open the door. We might as well go in.
I suppose we might as well. I mean, we're here as it is. And, we really have nothing else to explore.
I remind everyone to stay on guard, as we did see strange indigenous people before.
Do the pirates have their own torches?
Just one pirate.
Does
It's
the
just
pirate have... Does Josh Brolin
Yeah.
have his own torch?
Yeah, Josh Brolin's got a torch.
Tweet.
He dips into your torch. He's like, sweet, boom, torches. So we'll just say for that sake, you guys have
Well,
you
we
guys
don't
can
need
see.
torches.
Yeah. Well, no, with the aid of a torch, you guys can see even better.
That's true.
Because now where low light would start at 60 feet starts like your regular sight will start from there. So you get you can see.
I can see everything.
And except for if the light is around corners, then it would like dim and stuff like that. That's
Right.
just like normal.
Physics.
So you guys light a few torches. Fayun?
We go on in.
All right. So you begin to walk down this hallway or corridor, if you will. And your footsteps from all you guys kind of like echo a little bit as the waterfall sound kind of gets a little more dull back behind you, and quieting. Your footsteps aren't like super loud because it's kind of muffled by the caked dust that's on the floor. It looks like this dust is pretty thick. There's cobwebs and stuff here or there, and looks like this place hasn't been gone through in a considerable amount of time. Continuing on, you guys can see that maybe about 100 feet down, this corridor comes to a T. And like you can see like as you're traveling straight ahead. About 100 feet away, you see like a wall, and you can tell that the corridor is going to bend either left or right. What do you guys do?
Is there... I guess I'll follow the wind. Is there a breeze coming from any? Or going down either?
Just in from where you guys were. You can feel like the cool air coming from behind you. The air in here feels like 65 degrees, 60 degrees, somewhere around there. And like dry,
But not moving.
not very humid.
Are there any designs like in scroll work, like on the door in here?
On the inside of the door, you haven't seen anything. So far, this has just been, nice and basically like polished, like what was polished marble floors, and then just like nicely hewn, like straight rock wall sides.
I'm going to send Terry down one hallway, the left, and I'm going to take a listen down the right to see if I can hear anything.
Okay. Are you guys gonna walk up to the T?
I will, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I shan't speak for the others.
All right. Moved you guys to a new map.
Ooh.
If you zoom out and then move yourself all the way to the right and about the center, you should be able to see yourselves.
Nice.
And let me just put Billy Bob in there as well. Make sure everybody's controlled by all players so that you guys can move each other around.
That would be nice.
Yeah, the only two people I can't control were me and Fal. Let's see.
Okay, so you see this corridor, I'll point out here, kind of ends in a T. And you're not really sure which way to go. So you guys are going to move up to the edge.
Yes, I'm going to go to here. I guess I'll go to
Okay.
here, and then I'll send Terry down here.
And Fal, what are you up to?
I will follow suit and stay close.
All right. So Viz, looking up north, you find. Oh, so what did you tell Terry to do before we do anything else?
Fly 20 feet down the corridor. Tell me if you see any doorways or hear any breezes or smell anything weird. If you don't, come back. Also, if you see any creatures, immediately fly back for safety. And
All
that's-
right.
that's
So as you turn the corner and Terry flies down the other way, he immediately starts making sounds.
it. Oh, come back!
And so and you just like look in the other direction, and you can see that there's a door
Oh,
not far away.
well, look at that. You've done it, Terry.
You also notice that the corridor that you're in, let's see, the corridor that you're in extends to the north for about 60 feet, and then is going to take a turn to the right. Again, the hallways here are like caked in dirt and or caked in dust and such. And then the hallway also extends to the south about 40 feet. And there's a door that is on the on the western wall that looks very similar to the doors that you guys came through before. You're a little ways away from it, so what would you guys like to do?
Well, we've got 2 corners and a door. I guess we should check the door first, right?
Yes. Let us take a look.
Would you like to open the door?
All right, so why don't you guys give me a little narrative? Like you're gonna walk up to the door and check it out, or let me know what you're.
So after a brief
Talk it out.
reconnaissance that happened quite quickly, Viz and Fowl nod to each other, walk towards the door. Viz is going to step back and ready a spell just in case. As we look at this door situation that's here, what's happening?
Yeah, so
Does it resemble the one we entered?
yeah,
is it
Fal,
still-
taking a look at this door, it's very similar to the doors that you guys came through initially. So it's a double door that's each door is 5 feet wide. It's the whole thing is like 10 feet tall. And let's see.
Does it have carvings on it again?
This one instead has a different style of carvings on it.
Ooh.
So it is stone, and it looks like it has this symbol of like 5 and they're kind
you
of
cut
in
out
like
exactly when you said whatever that noun was that you were just saying.
5 spheres.
Okay.
And they're kind of designed in a like triangular manner. Let me see if I can just draw this for you using the draw shape function. So I'm just gonna I'll draw this, and then I will show it to you guys.
Yeah, you were like, it has 5. So when you see that, and I was like, no, wait, 5 what? Testicles. Oh, Discord, you never fail to unimpress. Also, we have someone called Community Showcase here, who I'm also
a
going
bot.
to assume is
Totally
a
a
bot.
bot. Get out of here.
Already gone.
Yep, because we told them we were they were bots. And they knew.
Well.
They're like, fuck you, I'm not a bot. People keep making assumptions.
People keep thinking I'm a bot.
Okay, so this is a very crude representation. Oh, this is terrible looking. is not very helpful. All right, so it kind of looks like a triangle made of 5 circles. Like 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom. And then there is like a kind of like a band almost that looks like it goes around them, like if they were 3-dimensional. And it spans both of the doors, so it's like a huge like symbol. Let me. God, there's got to be a way I can draw it for you so that you can just see what it looks like. Give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna draw it.
Yay. Yeah, it was like a triangle made of 5 spheres. Like, I'm not picturing that. I'm sorry. That is not coming into my head well. That's a me thing.
That's fine. I'm just gonna draw it and then I'll. It's just gonna take me 1 second. So, I mean, no one's listening anyway, so it doesn't really matter if there's dead air.
That's true.
Okay, I'm just gonna take a picture of this and then I'm just gonna put it in the Discord.
And then I'll show it on the stream.
Come on, cell phone. Don't shit the bed now. Okay. Sending it to myself, and then I will post.
I was gonna say, if you downloaded the Discord app to your phone, you could.
I don't have it on my phone.
You could, yeah, just do it straight from there.
Nope, not that easy. How do I put it in the Discord?
You can just upload image, like that. There's a little plus sign next to the chat button, like the chat bar, and you can upload things, or you can just drag and drop.
Is that with this little package? There we go. Got it. Just the plus button. Boom. Boom. Boom.
Nice. It's like the Olympics.
It's like a very quick sketch.
That's showing on the stream briefly. So that's the design on our door.
And so it sort of spans both of them. It's like an enormous design. They're like in these, like this big triangle kind of with this band that sort of surrounds them. And yeah, so the door is, it looks like it's stone, and this is carved into the stone, and there's like a cleft in between the doors. What would you guys like to do?
Is the design? Do the stones? Are they? The circles, are they like divots? Do we put things in those? Or is it
It
just
looks more like
carved?
it's like a design. Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could just open it. What do you think, Val? Think it's worth a push?
Uh, yes, I will attempt to push it.
With a stellar rolling tonight, I'm sure you'll do it on your 8th try.
Go ahead and make me a strength check, Falyuan.
Strength +3 coming right up.
Hey!
So you give it all you got, and the door budges a little bit, and then you can feel that it's locked.
Oh.
It is locked.
You don't obviously see a key, like see an obvious keyhole, or anything like that, but you can search around for one.
I
if you
will
want.
investigate the door to see if there's a mechanism keeping it. I mean, obviously there is a mechanism, but I want to figure out what it is. God. Well, I still roll like shit, so here's a 10.
Yeah, John, just wait till I call for rolls. You can just tell me what you're doing, and you don't have to make a roll.
Well, I mean, it's an investigation check. That's how that goes.
Yeah, but like I guess what I mean is that like if like I only need you to make a roll if it's like necessary for the situation. I mean,
Okay.
So yeah, I mean like don't worry about doing it like unprompted. I'll just ask for rolls here or there. So you're like looking for like a mechanism on the outside, right?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to see where the bar is that's keeping the two doors held together so that we can't budge them apart. Or
Yeah, so looking on this side, it doesn't seem that there's any like you don't see like a physical lock or anything like that. So you imagine that whatever's barring it or whatever's locking it is probably on the inside. Searching around a little bit, you do find that the like on the sidewall here. Let me point it out. Viz, you find that on the sidewall here, it looks like there's a slot for like a rectangular slot that you imagine would hold some sort of a key or something like that.
A square slot for a key. Well, I guess we're looking for a cube of some kind or a medallion that's square-ish. Do we have anything like that on us?
Rectangular, not square.
Rectangular. Quadrilateral.
I do not think so.
I guess we can come back to this then, as we don't seem to have anything that can open that. Should we continue down that hallway?
You see that the hallway continues to the south here.
Mhm.
And then, sort of turns to the east. And Viz, you see that the hallway to the north continues for a ways and then also turns to the east. I will say other option is, everything still seems to be pretty dust covered, that no one's been here in a long time. You guys can always attempt to break down any doors or anything like that. I don't know if you have any mallets or mauls or anything like that.
Definitely.
I'm not much of a bashing type, so...
So never mind. We'll skip that. All right, then. So seeing that the door's kind of a bust, obviously locked.
We'll come back to it.
There is, yes, hallway to the north and hallway to the south.
Well, the southern one's closer. I suggest we explore that one first.
Yeah.
Viz will start making his way down. I guess not really trying to be too quiet, as there's dust everywhere.
All right. Fal, I see you're making your way down as well. The hallway moves to the east for about 20 feet, and then turns south again.
I will just motion for everyone to come along and keep on going.
Okay. So you turn the corner to the south, and a strange sight is sort of ahead of you. I will draw a little on here. sort of hovering midair. It's probably about 5 feet in the air or so. Is this fairly large crystal? When I say fairly large, it's like about the size of a basketball. And it's like a perfect crystalline structure. So it's kind of about, I'd say, 12 inches or 18 inches wide, and it's about 2 feet tall, and like has like perfect facets, and comes to a point at the top and a point at the bottom, and it's just sort of hovering there, midair.
I don't suppose that is worth anything.
Well, it's worth checking out.
Yeah, Viz, you
I don't-
haven't. I don't. You're not really sure exactly what this thing might
This
be.
is going to open
What?
his third eye up to see if he can sense any magical auras from this thing.
Yeah. Why don't you make me an Arcana check to see what the kind of magic this thing is giving off, if any at all.
19.
19. So this thing is definitely magical. You're not. Let's see. You're pretty sure it's got some sort of. Hold on. Let me see what school.
Yeah, it's pretty much the only thing I can tell from an Arcana check.
Yeah, exactly. But that can be helpful sometimes.
Very much. Yeah, because it's like necromancy. I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Right. So it seems like it's associated with some sort of conjuration.
Mm.
And it's moderately powerful. You think it's probably worth a considerable amount.
How large
You're
is
not
it
exactly sure. What's that?
How large is it again?
It's about 2 feet tall. It's about
Okay.
18 inches wide. It's just this big hovering crystal.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things that you're like, I don't know, you're not sure exactly what it is. You bet, like, if you found a library or a book or something like that, you'd be able to look it up.
Well,
You're like, you think that you've seen something like it
Viz
before.
will take a quick sketch before proceeding down the hallway and will advise with caution, as it may be a magical sentinel of some kind that's either keeping watch of the area or maybe like a guardian, left behind.
A guardian.
Like some sort of sentry, like a turret of some kind that,
A turret.
it may release magical energies as we approach. I'm just saying, be cautious. It may not, but it may. So yeah, Viz will do his quick sketch, and then he'll take the lead on this one, and start slowly walking up to this crystal.
Yeah. The crystal seems to be the only thing that's clean in the area. Like, if you look around, like, there's dust all over the floor, cobwebs on the walls and stuff like that.
Right.
But the crystal looks like, you assume it's because of its magical properties. It's like polished looking. And as you approach it, you also see that the hallway continues to the east here, for just a short ways, and then turns again to the south.
Now that I'm closer, is there more I can see? More I can tell?
Unfortunately, no.
Like what's keeping it in the air?
Your check sort of did it there, for the fact that it's obviously magical. You're not really sure exactly what it does. Some sort of conjuration or something like that. You assume that it's, like you said, some sort of, like, exactly as you assumed.
Yeah.
It's someone placed it here for a reason.
Right.
Like, it's not just a.
It's far too, positioned in a spot like this to not be purposeful.
Right. That's exactly how you feel.
Well,
You're like, well, it's here for a reason. Like, you don't know exactly what.
So conjuration, I'm just going to go like through the quick list of spells in my head that at least I know, and try and think of what it could be.
Yeah, go ahead. You can think about that.
So
If
we
you know any
have
conjuration spells.
Yeah, is
Feel free to consult your conjuration textbook.
oh, I will.
Conjuration 101.
I don't know if this is worth using my second
Right?
cure-all tome. I will instead just pass my hand above and below it and see if like getting within its closer vicinity causes it to
Yeah,
send
you do
feedback.
like the magician thing where you're like, "Whoa, no strings,"
Yeah.
and there's like no strings. Like it doesn't interfere with its hovering, or anything like that. Fayoum, are you buzzing in?
Yeah, right.
Oh, sorry, that
It
was
sounds great. No, it sounds great. It's
It
like on a
sounds like
game show.
Jeopardy. Yeah, you're like, I'd like to submit.
as he's doing that. I come up to Viz's side and I say, I must admit that I am not a fan of magic the further we go on this journey. Magic has been more harmful to this world than it has been helpful in so many ways.
Well,
Balls of fire,
that's why I
lashes of
seek to
lightning,
protect the world against it.
dragons, demons, crystals of possible guardianship. It is nothing but disturbing.
And what is your point here, Fal? Because it's not going to go away, so we have to learn to harness it. That's the thing. Being able to use it in the correct and responsible manner. See, those who willy-nilly throw magic around, that's when you end up with problems like demons getting summoned in the middle of towns.
Don't remind me.
We
I will
need to
continue
make
down the
sure
hall.
that magic does not die, but instead becomes a tool to create further possibilities for us, advancing us in ways we never thought possible.
No, I think it should have stayed buried.
Well, I don't know if we have a choice anymore.
Unfortunately, I think you are right.
With that though, I'm going to. Oof. Yeah, I'm gonna touch the crystal. I'm gonna lightly tap it to see if it's like a
Yeah, see if
sleep
it's
stone or
hollow.
something.
See if it's like not.
Yeah, I'm gonna like ding on it and be like, "Hello, is there
Like,
anyone on the other
ding.
end?" Like hit
All
it with my
right.
nail.
Can you make me
A dex save throw.
a wisdom saving throw?
Yes. I hope I can make a decent one. Yeah, +4, not bad. Hey, 19.
Okay. You feel like a magic pulse from this thing a little bit,
Oh.
as you touch it, and you get like a little tingle, like a little like ooh, and like not quite like a. Have you ever like when you touch a door handle after you've been on carpet?
Yeah, you get that little
Um,
shock.
yeah, that little static shock.
Oh, Viz
You know,
is
you
so
still
used to
touch
that.
it, and you're like, whoo, like magic potency.
Mm.
You can tell that this thing tried to release some sort of a spell, but it didn't affect you.
Well, at that then, I'm going to take a small. Well, you said it's 2 feet long.
Yeah, it's 2 feet. It's 2 feet tall and
Thank
and
God.
18 inches wide.
Yeah, there's no
Um,
bag I can shove
so yeah,
that
you
into.
touched it. You touched it once, right? You
Yes, just
like
once.
touched. Yeah.
Did it feel like it was trying to harm me?
No. I mean, it didn't. It didn't like. Didn't feel like it was trying to like attack you or damage you, but it definitely tried to like cast some sort of a spell at you that it had stored in it.
Hmm. Um. Hmm. I guess we could just leave it alone, or we could knock it over. What do you think, Val?
I think I would leave that up to you.
The crystal, is it particularly rectangular in shape?
Yeah, but it's way larger than that slot, if that's
Okay.
what you were thinking.
That is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, am I gonna have to shove the tiny end of this crystal into that goddamn slot?
No, it's way
Um,
larger.
then I'm just gonna scooch past it for now because it tried to attack me, and I don't know what that's about. I
All right.
don't. Well, did it try to attack me? Wisdom saving throw. Let's see. Conjuration. Could have been a hideous laughter, or
So, Ewan, what are you up to?
yeah, Viz is
As-
just
As
like
Viz
pondering in a
continues to
corner.
ponder this crystal for a little while,
I would like to see what is down this hall.
Okay.
for it.
So you kind of look down this hall, and the hallway here continues. I mean, similarly, really nice marble, nice flat, even floors, beautiful, like laid walls, and covered in dust, and continues to the south for a good, let's see, 80 feet, and then again turns to the west.
No crystals?
You don't see any crystals. Yeah, no crystals.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Shall we?
Oh, this crystal, man. It's freaking me out. Yeah, let's keep going. But the crystal. I'm gonna kick it. I'm
Okay.
gonna kick it. I'm gonna kick it over and see what happens. Fuck it.
Okay. You go for the karate kick, like side, you plant one foot and give it the other like side boot.
Yeah.
Make me a will save.
Yeah. 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 Not this time.
Oh. All right. Viz disappears.
Oh!
Boop.
Oh, it's a
Um,
teleportation spell.
Viz, you find yourself in the jungle.
Oh, like back
Uh,
outside?
can you join me in the general chat?
I shall.
Bien, we'll be right back.
Okay.
So Viz, you find yourself basically you're like next to a pretty large tree, in a kind of a clearing. Um you're in the jungle, but you can see the trees are a little bit scrubbier and stuff here. And you can feel a little bit of a breeze, and you can smell the salt air. So you think that you're still on an island somewhere. But you're not in a familiar location.
Huh. Well, that's not good. And I'm
No,
completely by myself. Is there
completely by
is there a
yourself.
circle on the ground around me? A teleportation
No,
circle?
no.
Is there any?
It looks like this thing has just teleported you to a location.
And it's just jungle. That's all that's around me, really.
Yeah, I mean, so looking around, you can see that there are like, there's some paths and stuff like that. To your like sort of to your right, there's this path that leads up like a little rocky outcropping that you feel like you could kind of get a view from. Otherwise you could also like head, kind of into the jungle and try to find that waterfall.
I'm going to go to the rocky outcropping to get
All
a
right.
sense of.
So yeah, you kind of just like make your way. You like, you're now in a little bit of a, uncertain state.
Mhm.
And you sort of scramble up these rocks and up to the top of this little outcropping. And you survey the scene. Why don't you make me a perception check as you just kind of like look around?
Oh, pretty good. 21.
21. Nice. All right. So you see the island kind of laid out before you. You are on the top of some sort of a mountain or something like that.
Oh.
Behind you, you can see that the mountain still rises a little bit above you, and is kind of, you can see like the tree line stops, maybe another 50 or 60 feet up, and kind of gets very rocky from there. You can't really see the top of the mountain that easily. But down below, you can see the dense jungle. You can see the waterfall. It's not close. But you can also see Ringo's ship out in the harbor, not too far away. And then you can see the rest of the island kind of laid out in front of you. And a few of the things that you notice from here, you notice some of these like Petrodon type things. Is that what we call
the
them?
pteranodons?
Uh,
That's an actual. Petrodon is not a dinosaur. That's not.
yeah, it's a fake thing that I made.
Okay, then sure, Petrodon.
I think Bien wrote it in here. Yeah, Petrodon. So you see these, they're like kind of winged looking, kind of like pterodactyls, flying through the air in some spots. And you also see like the trees being like pushed to the side, and like what looks like some enormous creatures moving around, kind of like far away. And you can hear the birds and stuff like that nearby. And you're not entirely sure where you are. But you can see the what's it called, the waterfall, probably about like 2 miles or so away. And kind of like through the jungle and stuff, like down the hill from where you are. So what would you like to do?
Well, Terry was on my shoulder. Is he still with me? Did he get
Ooh.
teleported with me?
Do you want to make me a will save for Terry?
Can he just automatically fail? So he did.
Yeah, if you want him to have, that's fine.
I'd rather him be with me than.
Yeah.
Actually, would it be better if he was back? No, because I
I don't
can't
know.
speak to him from this far away.
It's entirely up to you if he
Yeah.
makes the will save or fails it.
No, he came with me.
Okay. So yeah, Terry's on your shoulder.
All right.
A little
Well,
freaked out.
I kind of pet him, calm him down a little bit. Looks like we got teleported, old chum. I guess I'll make my way back to the waterfall and send Terry ahead, because he knows the
All
way.
right, let me go back to Faoyuan real quick. I'll
Yeah.
be right back.
Actually, I was
Just
thinking about this. I
what?
can't not be here because I'm streaming, and for me to just sit in silence is not a good stream. So I have to be with you guys. I'm sorry. I can't not be in the loop.
All right, it'll just kind of kill the role playing experience for you, John. Unfortunately,
I'll just take my headphones off, so I won't hear
Okay.
you. If you want to
That's
type in
perfect.
Discord to like put my headphones back on, I'll do that.
Yes, that's perfect. That way, it doesn't kill the illusion for you.
So headphones are off. I can't hear you.
All right, bye. So yeah, you can. So you see Viz wind up for this kind of karate kick, and he boots the thing in the side, and him and Terry on his shoulder just like poof disappear. The crystal doesn't move an inch.
Faoyuan's like, what?
I think similarly, Billy Bob and Josh Brolin are both like, what the fuck just happened?
I sigh, I look at them, and I say, did I not just say magic has done more harm than good?
Billy Bob sort of like, squints and like walks up to it. He's like, what just happened?
Viz?
There's no sign or you can't hear him or see him or anything like that.
Viz, if you are invisible, this is not the best time. Does anyone see him?
Billy Bob's like, no, I don't know what's going on. Like Walden and Kenny are, helpless, clueless. Neither him nor Josh Brolin know what to do. It's all on you.
All right, I will go up, and I guess I will inspect the crystal and just like slightly see where he has tried to kick it, if he made any indentation or anything like
Doesn't
that.
look like there's any cracks or dents or anything like that. It looks as perfect as it was when you guys first approached it.
I tap it with my shield.
All right, go ahead and make me a will save.
A will save. Okay.
Yeah.
Will or wisdom?
Will is wisdom.
Okay. 5.
Okay. Poof. You disappear. Faoyuan, you are instantly teleported into the middle of the jungle. basically you're not really sure where you are. You're sort of in like the dense thick of this jungle, and you can see the tree line and stuff, trees and everything are a little scrubbier here. And you can see that there's like some little trails and stuff that lead away from the area that you're in. You're right next to this enormous tree, and in sort of like a little bit of a clearing around that. And there's like some sort of like rocky cliff-like areas off to your right.
Viz? God damn it.
Hold on one sec. I told him to put on his headphones, but he didn't see it.
Sorry, I muted my mic.
There
Fal?
you go. Yeah, you can hear him down below. And Fal, you look up at a voice. Viz is up on that little rocky outcropping. It's just the two of you guys.
Did I not tell you magic has done more harm than good?
Well, I mean, this isn't really harm, more of an inconvenience. But now we're here, and we're both here, so I'm not so worried. I was gonna have to go through this whole thing alone. Do you know how terribly dangerous that is for a wizard?
How terribly dangerous it is for the both of us.
Yes.
Where are we?
Walden and Kenny suddenly appear.
Yeah, just for fun.
Kenny's like, "Hey, what the hell was that? What's going on?"
What about Billy Bob?
So far, no sign of Billy Bob or Josh Brolin.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I did a bit of a scouting in the brief moments I was here without you, and I saw that the waterfall is about 2 miles, I guess, south of here. I don't know, away from here, towards that way, and this points towards where the waterfalls are, and the shores over there. You can see. I kind of, I assume, Fal, can you come up here to where I'm talking to you from?
Yeah, Fal, you can climb up to that little rocky outcropping that he's on.
Okay, I hobble my way there.
Yeah, so with some help, you get up. As you guys are up there with Walden and Kenny, Billy Bob and Josh Brolin both appear down in the little clearing below, and they're like, "Hello."
Oh, you boys touched the crystal too. Come on up.
Oh, good God. And so you guys are now up on this little rocky outcropping. You can see the waterfall, a couple miles away. And this mountainside kind of continues up above you. What would you guys like to do?
We could go back to the secret waterfall palace, or we can take this opportunity to hunt in the jungle for a bit. As you said, we needed supplies.
I would like to take out my spyglass and search around a little more.
Yeah,
just to kind of get our bearings a little bit better.
What are you doing?
I was hoping to take out my spyglass and just kind of survey the area.
Survey the area. Or what are you looking for in particular?
I was just hoping to do a little bit of cartography and just make note of where we are in conjunction with where the waterfall is, so we know, like, all right, this crystal put us here, that kind of thing.
Okay, so you're going to try to like draw a little bit of a map, based on the elevation that you guys are at.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. So I'd say you spend a good half hour probably,
A good
kind of
20.
drawing everything out, marking where Ringo's boat is. Viz, you like help point out like, this should be over here. Like, look at the cove up there. Kind of pointing out some features and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a pretty good sense. I assume you have paper and pencil or quill or something like that.
Oh yeah, always.
Okay.
As does Viz.
I'm opening up your character sheet right now. Better see that shit on there.
Viz totes does, so if you need some, I got you. If you didn't write it down.
I hear you typing it in.
Oh, Bien's cheating.
Wait, what? Cheating at what? I was just writing notes for like what happened to us.
I don't know. I don't see any pen and paper on your thing here.
Oh no, it was I had like a recipe book from before. I probably didn't transfer it over on
Oh, didn't transfer it over.
You did actually absolutely have a recipe.
Likely excuse, John.
What? I'm not
Don't make it up. All right, I'll give it to you this time. So yeah, you spend some time. You guys draw a little map in relation of where you think you are. Part of it's incomplete because you can't see the whole island, but you draw in what you can see. And I'm gonna move you guys back to the ship just so you can't really see that map anymore. So what do you guys want to do? You spend half an hour. It's like midday. You're a little ways from where you were, and definitely a little ways from the boat.
Well, it's a lot better that we're all here now. This was going to be quite the ordeal alone. But I say we travel. I mean, is there anything else of note that you saw, Fal?
Not aside from those birds. Things.
There's also the other side of the mountain that we're on, that we seem to be pretty close to the top to. But I assume that Crystal was there as a trap to shoot us here because this is a very inconvenient, out of the way, and uninteresting part of the island. Or...
You said we were in a clearing with a tree, Tom?
Yeah, there was you were just next to a big tree when you came out of when you teleported here.
Anything special about that tree?
It's just big.
No carvings in it or anything?
No, it's just a big tree.
Is it particularly bigger than the other trees?
No, there's nothing special about the tree, guys.
I feel like there's something we need to know about that tree.
There's not some sort of hidden thing about how awesome this tree is when you guys touch the trap crystal.
What's in the tree?
What's the awesome thing that's in the tree? We touched the trap crystal. Tell us. No. No, you feel that, Viz, you're exactly right. That, this thing put you out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised that there's nothing of note around here. So I guess we just make our way back if we want to spend the rest of the day doing that. Or, because by the time we get back to the waterfall, it'll probably be an hour and a half from now, going through jungle terrain, keeping our bearings. Even though it's only...
Yeah, so do you guys want to go back?
Well, so that's the thing. Is it worth it? Because we're going to be leaving here at night once Ringo gets his bearings. So, are we going to have much time to do anything?
Yeah, we might as well get water.
Yeah, let's just focus on supplies, I guess. We can go back to the boat from here and tell them about the waterfall we found, and they can send a few more guys with some empty barrels, and maybe we can roll them back or something.
That is as good as a plan as any.
So you guys are going to head back to the ship?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Why don't one of you guys, someone needs to make me a survival check as you guys set off on the trail.
Mine's a +1, Fal. What's
you
yours?
think will get you?
I have a +4.
Yes, survive for us.
All right, Fal. Make me a survival check.
Hey!
Nat
Not bad
20.
roll to roll that on.
All right, so Fal, you find a game trail.
Very nice.
And
Nice.
this trail leads you pretty much on a straight shot through the jungle. And you sort of descend down into the valley from this hillside that you were up on. And then you notice that from that hill that there was almost this little mesa type area down below. And there was a stream that kind of ran up almost kind of through it or underneath it. And your game trail sort of takes you to the base of this this mesa, and you kind of bring the party to a stop, because you can see that like down at this stream, like right below this structure and stuff, a lot of the trees and stuff have been kind of cleared away, and you can see that there's several things going on, like at the riverbank right now. There are about a half dozen or so of these large reptile creatures. They stand about 8 feet tall or so, and are on two like very powerful hind legs with like a really big tail. They have like shorter arms, and and they're like currently drinking at the stream that goes through here.
Mm.
On the shore next to them, like kind of like you guys are at like the tree line, instead of across the river on the other shore bank where these creatures are, hanging out next to them, there's like you can see there's a small cook fire going, and you can see there's half a dozen of these kind of dark-skinned looking humanoids. Very tan skin. You can see they're dressed kind of like scouts, if you would. They've got like, leathers and stuff like that on. Things look a little more primitive. They've got like bows and arrows and stuff like that. Definitely not as much of the modern convenience. It looks like things are very like, hand tailored, like hides and things like that are probably more, homemade or something along those lines. They haven't noticed you guys. And they seem to be, they've got some spears, some shields. They have a few of them have like what look like longbows, and they seem to be kind of sitting around cooking, talking back and forth, while these creatures next to them are like sort of drinking. The creatures are maybe 10, 15 feet away, and drinking at the water.
How many in all?
6 creatures and 6 humanoids.
6 creatures and 6 humanoids. Jesus.
Wait, and the creatures are the lizard humanoids?
Yeah, they're reptiles.
Oh, they're just
that
reptiles.
have 2 big, powerful legs. They kind of have like. Actually, why don't you guys make me a perception check?
Yeah, let me see if I remember any of them from before.
13.
What is my perception? 4.
Actually, can I make a knowledge nature check to see if I identify that particular lizard as one I've seen before?
So you wouldn't. I would say it's one of those things that you can make me a history check, to see if you've read about them before, because it's definitely something you've never encountered.
I will. Am I allowed to roll that roll?
Yeah. Go ahead. Roll me a history check. Yeah.
20.
Okay. So on closer inspection, Falyuan, Viz, you recall you're like, all right, these things are, they're called Allosauruses.
Oh shit.
And
Allosauruses are huge.
They seem to be not, I mean, they're, like I said, they're 8 feet tall. And in Fel, you point out when Viz starts to like recount these things that Allosauruses are, they're omnivorous. They feast on, the flesh of mammals and things like that. They can be very dangerous. And they're not the type of thing that should exist.
Yes,
they're like a theorized creature.
We talked as if they could have existed millions of years ago, but no longer.
Yeah, or like basically, they're not even sure when they existed. It's just that there's been skeletal remains of them that have been found.
There's kind of bones sometimes.
Exactly. And Falyuan, as he's mentioning this, you point out that they've got saddles on them.
They do not look like anything I want to fight.
It's like Ark. Well,
Or
maybe
run
we
away
don't
from.
have. Do we know if these are... And the humanoids, are they... You said they were just dark-skinned?
Yeah.
Did
like
they look human?
black.
Or did they look elven? Or
You guys aren't from the distance. You're not really sure. Faluan, you would guess elven, half elven, something along those lines.
But they're dark skinned. So drow?
Yeah.
Potentially?
I didn't say that.
Do they look... I mean, we've all seen drow. Do they look like drow?
No, they don't have like white hair.
Okay, cool.
And they're not like jet. Their skin isn't like jet black. Like
they're just like island tan.
No, they're like black people.
Oh, okay.
They're like dark brown.
Oh, so we have black elves.
Boom.
Fal, we got your
I was trying to say this all along.
that aren't dark elves. Or drow.
No, they're not dark elves.
Has Viz ever heard of just black elves that aren't drow? Like usually black elves are drow.
No, you haven't.
Yeah. That's weird. Huh.
You're like news to me.
Yeah, very strange. Well, I mean, whatever. It's probably because of this island environment has caused their skin to tan and darken, but strange.
So racist.
What? No. I mean, I think we could talk to them. We don't have to fight them. Do you think it's possible? I mean, I am apparently not the voice of reason tonight, as I got us all teleported across the island. But I'd also like
things did rapidly change.
Yes.
It went from dungeon crawl to open land exploration very fast.
I like to keep things fresh. Never put me in a box, Tom.
Oh, never put you in a box with a crystal.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just kick it, I guess.
I would much prefer not to fight these giant
we can
allosaurs.
avoid them, but I don't see us having good odds of avoiding them, as they probably.
Well, you guys are like Fel got a really good role in like directing you guys, so you're like on the edge of the tree line. You could totally skirt around them. Yeah, you could try to avoid them by all means. I mean, I might have you make a check, but
yeah, I'm not particularly stealthy, so.
But you feel like you guys could just like basically go the other way and avoid them if you wanted to, or you're more than welcome. You can go try to, converse with them or whatever as well, or you could open fire. Whatever you want to do.
Trade negotiations. Ringo's looking for goods and wares. We're looking to get off this island with a little bit of extra food and water. Maybe these guys can help.
I suppose so.
I think you should take lead, honestly. I mean, not to be that guy, but, they'll be more comfortable around you. Because I'm weird and pasty.
I will put my shield on my back.
I'll obviously stay in step with you, but I'll let you take the lead.
Yeah.
Okay, you put your shield on your back.
Shield on my back. And start strutting towards them.
Okay. Viz, what do you and the rest of the party do as Fal breaks the tree line and starts walking across the
I was
plain?
saying I stay with Fal. I keep in step with him, just in case.
The rest of the party sort of joins with you guys, non-threateningly, sort of following suit.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get like into it's one of those things where you start just like, start confidently like walking into the grass, like towards this. You've got this big maze. It's probably about like a good 150 feet or so above you. It's like kind of sticks out above the trees and everything like that. And there's this kind of clearing of grass and everything like that rolls down to this river, or, between stream and river, kind of maybe about 20 feet wide or so, and moves somewhat casually, and kind of cuts through underneath this mesa in like a tunnel, almost like a big archway. And you're sort of walking across this grassy plain that leads down to the riverbank that's on the opposite side of where these elves and these allosauruses are. And you get like further than you think you should. Do you know what I mean? Where you're like you're like halfway there, and you're like, they should probably have seen me by now.
Yeah, like why aren't they doing anything?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like one of them like looks over at you, and he pulls something from around his neck and puts it to his mouth, and begins to make this like whistling sound like 3 times. At that, like all the allosauruses like pop their heads up, and immediately like look over in your direction.
This has his hands in the air, like peace.
Yeah, I mean, I assume you guys are like, whoa, all the guys begin to grab like their spears and arms and stuff like that, and you can see 4 of them run and just like immediately hop on the backs of these Allosauruses, and saddle up.
Ooh.
They start to like splash across the water as you guys just sort of walk down the hillside.
As they're splashing across, Viz is gonna grab like a decent sized gem from his pouch just to have in his hand, ready to show.
Okay. Fal, what are you up to?
I confidently stand my ground and I just raise.
Walking forward.
No, I'm just gonna stay in place and raise up my fist as if we've come here to talk.
Yeah, sort of like palm side forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys sort of hang out, stand your ground. Look as non-threatening as possible.
But also
the 4 of these
like
Allosaurus riders kind of quickly close the gap. You see how fast these Allosaurus is all of a sudden. They're like sprinting horses. The way their powerful legs just sort of like propel them forward really quickly. They're really cool to watch. So I will show you. Hold on.
I was gonna say, this is straight out of Ark, the game a friend of mine and I play. It's very fun.
No, this is.
I just mean
this is straight out of a Magic the Gathering card.
Oh, is it?
Because it's the most amazing thing in the world. These Allosauruses are slightly smaller than those pictures.
Oh shit.
Do we have a better image I can show the audience?
Oh, I don't know. You can search for one. Allosaurus rider.
Search. I mean, the audience knows what's up.
Yeah, it's a dinosaur with an elf on its back.
Like, it looks like a T-Rex but smaller, and yeah.
Yeah, in this case, about 8 feet tall. Yeah, there's no good, like, really solid, like, blown up picture of it.
I've kind of found one.
Okay.
Allosaurus rider, everybody. Those things.
That is the basis of it. Thank you, whoever the artist is on that. That was pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
So these riders the 4 of them close the ground the distance pretty quickly. And then the other 2 sort of come up behind them, and you can see that the 4 of them form like this front, this like almost like little like straight line as they run towards you, and then they sort of break off to like, you can see its formation obviously as they're doing this. 2 of them like break off to either side as these 2 guys like move forward, and then the 6 of them kind of surround you guys. And they're still, they keep their distance. They're probably about 30 feet, 40 feet away, surrounding you. And, their spears are kind of lowered at you. Like, you can see, like, they're not really sure what to expect. And one of the riders, so you can see now as you've gotten closer, they all have, like, long, dark hair. Some of them are in various hairstyles, like trimmed up on the sides or like cut into like mohawk type things and stuff like that. But most of them wear like, long hair that's sort of like tied up in buns. You can see they're pretty decked out with leather armor and stuff now that you've gotten closer. And they do have, similar to this picture, they all do have like capes. And their capes are kind of this kind of greenish yellow color. And this one rider has like, you can see he's got like a white collar. And he looks like obviously distinct from the other ones. And he's the one who speaks up first, and he addresses you specifically, Falyuan. And at first he addresses you in a language that you don't understand. And you can tell it's some sort of like native, like a tribal language that his tribe probably uses.
At that, I put my trident face down, so the spikes are facing the ground. I throw it into the ground so that hopefully they know that I'm not here as a hostile. And I speak up in common. I say, "We come in peace."
Okay. He in a kind of a hobbled together common, he says, "Who is we?"
Viz will say in Elven, do you understand this?
He replies in Elven, "Yes, much easier.
Okay.
Still rough, but Fal, do you speak Elven?"
Yeah. And
Okay.
then I will just speak plainly in Elven.
Okay. It says, "Who is we? Who are you?"
We are travelers trying to cross the sea to the Isles of Verdun, and we were lost at sea. We are just here for water and supplies, and we happened upon you guys here.
He like narrows his eyes a little bit, and kind of glances around at his men.
I point in the direction of the rancid if it's clear enough to see from where we are.
It is not clear enough to see from where you are. You haven't been able to see it for a while since you were up on the mountain before.
Okay.
You imagine you could see it from the top of the mesa. But how did you come here? He says.
By boat. A giant boat.
He gives like a long pause, just sort of like, thinking it over, breathing a little, like kind of heavily.
At that, then
he looks at you, Viz.
Hmm?
As he's
Why
doing
such
that,
a ragtag crew?
He says to me.
Yeah. He like points at you and points at like he looks like he's asking you, and he points at everybody else as well. Like there's a gnome, there's a
Viz will chuckle at that. Yes, it is rather motley. We are travelers from all over the world, and we have met each other in our travels.
You're a shaman.
I do speak to the magics of the land. Yes.
He nods at that. Value, and he like turns his attention back to you. You lead this band.
For now, yes. I'm on the ground kneeling, and I'm drawing a picture of a ship in the dirt. And I'm trying to explain that we came by boat, and we don't know much about this place. Where are we?
We've never seen creatures like this before. The ones that you were riding.
He like, he dismounts at this, and sort of, he doesn't seem to pay any attention to the Allosaurus next to him. It just sort of stands there. He just sort of like rubs its muzzle a little bit as he walks up towards you guys. You can see he's of average height. He's like maybe 5.5, 5'8", something like that. 5'9". So he walks up. He's fairly muscular. And Felyuan, he gets within like 5 feet of you or so. And it's like one of those things. Like as he gets closer, you like feel the feeling that you should like stand up instead of kneeling. Just one of those like it would be weird.
Yeah, it'd be disrespectful in a way.
And he offers you a hand.
I will take it.
All right. He shakes your hand. And you can see like it's one of those things where he like shakes your hand and kind of like grabs you at the same time. Like not like and like kind of like looks you over. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those like forearm grasps, and then he like grasps you a little tighter, and then like kind of gives you the look over a little bit. Like he looks up. Yeah, and it's almost one of those things where you can see he's looking at your ears.
Oh, interesting.
And when he releases his grasp,
oh yeah, because Fal's would be shorter than an elf's.
And he like as he releases his grasp, he's like, "You're not bombing, are you?"
What did he say? I'm not what?
Bonbin, he said.
I am not.
Are you Bombin?
He puts a hand to his chest, and then gestures around the circle. We are Bonbin.
Viz will say elf and touches the hand to his own chest, and then touch Fal and say half elf.
I imagine you kind of cock your head a little bit, like, and shrug, like.
Half elf? Like, you gotta. I mean, I like point to me, like one of me, and then I point to Walden and like one of them, and then I point to Fal and say, make one of him.
I look at them and I say, I am not a product of you two.
No, not directly.
At this, like, you know, he kind of like stares at you guys as you make this little like weird pantomime thing going on,
Yeah.
and kind of get caught up in the moment. So he then, like, you know, like after you guys kind of get back together, he like touches his chest again. He says, "I am Tonri."
At that, I touch my chest and I say, I am Falyuan. And then
Visito Veyona.
He then introduces the rest of his, you know, the other guys around, and you guys make introductions and stuff. And then he sort of gets back to the meat of things. So you find Bombin. How?
I wasn't conscious during that. Fal will have to weave that tale. It was by accident, from what I hear.
Yeah, I look at Viz and then I look at I kind of look at the ground and I'm trying to figure out how to say we came here by accident, and I'm like trying to figure out the right word so that he can understand that. I I go back down to the ground and I'm drawing, the ship. I'm drawing clouds and storm, and then I just draw like a weird mishappen shape, like a line, like a swirly line saying, we somehow ended up here, and I point to the ground. And I draw like an island.
He like points to that same island, and he's like, Bonbin secret and sacred.
Secret. We don't know how we came here. Do you know where we are in relation to Kel? And I draw like a crude map of Kel.
He's like, Kel? You can see he's like not really sure what that is. Oh, one of the other riders says something in that language that he was speaking when he first talked to you. He's like, yes, maybe Unri will know.
Who?
Or Shaman.
Oh.
Oh.
Would you? I mean, we wouldn't. We would be honored to meet him or her.
Yeah. I tell him, we are from Kel. And I'd say, I point to him.
He starts talking with the other elves, the other Bonbin. Like as you start like talking, and you can see it's one of those things where you like immediately think it's kind of rude.
While they're
And
talking,
he just started like talking over you. And then he like turns back to the conversation, like to your attention. He says, "We will take you to Unri."
Okay. We will go to Unri.
Yes.
All right. At that, anything else that you guys want to do? You can see it was like one of those weird, like abrupt things.
Do people usually? Are we? When was the last time visitors were on the island?
He like, he's like walking back towards his Allosaurus, and he like turns back and stops. Says, "We have not had visitors in decades."
Oh. Did they come here on purpose, or did they also end up here by accident?
I do not know.
Well, we shall
They
follow
never
you
left.
and meet your shaman.
Maybe Terry should send word to Ringo to give him an update?
I mean, we should just send Josh Brolin back. Like this ain't his scene.
Well, Josh Brolin's your is your envoy or your connection to Ringo. He like sort of speaks for the Rancid. He's second in command.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's cool with he's I mean, you guys can just ask him.
Yeah. Plus, I like having Thanos around. So
Yeah, so Josh is like, well, this all seems kosher with
BN,
me.
you can't do this to Thanos. I'm like getting so confused with names now. I'm like, wait, who the fuck's Thanos now? I'm like, oh, Josh
He's like,
Brolin. We're making
so
weird references.
not gonna be a problem for me. I'm sure Ringo will understand. I don't know. Maybe we can find some way to send word back to him.
yeah.
You got
No,
any like
I agree.
message things you can do?
I don't want to
You know,
send.
you got all that weird magic bullshit.
I don't want to send Terry away because I don't know if he'll be able to make his way through the jungle, and he definitely won't be able to make it back to us.
That's true. It'll be fine. I mean, he won't leave if we don't come back, so he'll give us at least a couple days.
That is good to know.
Yeah,
Um,
benefit of the doubt.
I guess I wouldn't want Terry to be eaten by those birds anyway. Okay.
unless you'd like to summon me another one yourself.
Oh, no. Between the two of us, you both well know that you are the one with magic.
Yeah, I don't have any.
So as you guys are talking, Tonri goes and gets back onto his Allosaurus, and the six of them sort of like circle up a little bit and kind of make a little formation.
Oh wait, fuck! I do have a message spell.
He turns back and looks at you guys. He's like, "Oh, no mounts."
No.
He fell you, and you can see he he offers a hand down.
I will take it. And
He just like throws you up into the saddle behind him.
nice.
He's like, "Mount up with my men."
Do as he says.
Jesus. All right.
You can see his men, offer the rest of you, sort of a hand up, onto the Allosaurus. And you guys kind of, I think you all fit. Kenny's pretty small, so he kind of rides up on the nape of one. Or actually, better yet, turns into something like a bird or whatever, and just flies nearby.
I don't know if they'd be cool with that.
Yeah, we'll just say he did that long ago, just to
Okay.
make things easier.
He's been a bird this whole time.
Yeah, I just, I don't even want to have to think about what they're
Can we
up to.
say that we send Kenny back then as a bird, and he's just on the boat?
That makes things really easy. That's a perfect idea. Kenny will send the message for you. He's going to head back as some sort of an animal.
Boom.
Boom. Done. Damn. Let's take a 5-minute break, go to the bathroom, grab a
use
drink.
some water.
Yep, Joe. Good job.
Maybe 10 minutes. Thank you, Joe. Really making a difference.
Yeah. Even from the
Already, so
grave.
far, I'm loving this session. Having a great time.
Yeah. And nobody's here. Oh wait.
Yes.
Angel of Light, a flight.
Also a bot.
Is
Also
it
a bot.
Angel of Light. You looked it up.
I think he's also a bot.
Looking it up right now.
No, just a member of the Satanic Temple. All right. Well, Angel of Light, welcome to Dungeons and Dragons Sunday night on Questhook. We hope you enjoy. And
As they
hail
quit,
Satan.
they're like, "Fuck you." All right, so take a $5. We'll be back. Quest hook it up. Quest hook out.
All right.
Good to see you, Fiverr.
Okay.
away we go. I'll get rid of the back in 5 message.
All right. So we are back.
We're back. It's been 5 ish.
Hooking it.
Hooking it up.
So when we last left, you guys were just mounted up on the back of these Allosauruses with Tonri, who apparently is a Bonbon, which you haven't heard of before. And he's taking you, he said, to go see Unri, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem sinister, and it would be interesting to meet a shaman.
All right, so you guys are on the back of these Allosauruses, and they take off, sort of splash through this river, rip across the plains pretty quickly, like in a full gallop, and sort of right into the jungle. And from there, they just start like running down these pretty large, like game trails, basically, that you think that they've pretty much made with these Allosauruses. And they eventually, after running for what seems like probably about half hour or so, taking various turns and twists and such, they sort of slow their pace. As you guys come across these, like a really big line of trees that's really, really thick. So it's like the jungle gets like super thick. And you can see it almost forms like a wall. And as you guys go down the trail, you can see that there's a gate that's set into this wall. And it all kind of blends into the jungle pretty well. Out front of this gate, you see it's currently closed. And there is 2 of these dark-skinned looking elves who are standing out front with big spears, big shields. They seemed more armored than these guys. They have like helms and stuff like that, and like pieces of metal like sewn into their leather armors.
Does it say Jurassic Park on top of the gate?
It does not.
Damn.
Is there a song playing that sounds roughly like na 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 na?
Maybe.
If I were a bard,
You just think hard.
That's what my character would be playing right now.
So they sort of slow to more of like a walking pace as they get up close, and the guards do that like classic thing where they sort of like widen their stance and put their shields forward and sort of cross their spears. And one of them says something to Tonri, and he replies back. There's a little bit of a conversation. You can see some pointing at you guys. And then the 2 guardsmen shout something, and the gate begins to open.
Wow.
Pretty official setup they've got here.
Tonri looks back at you, Falyun. We now go into the village. There are many here who have not seen people like your friends.
There are many friends who have not seen your people.
Well, we will bring you straight to Henri. I suggest that your friends and you don't mingle.
Oh, okay. Will you lead us to him?
Mingle with each other or your people?
With the villagers, I assume, is what he means.
Yeah, with the villagers. So he rides you guys into town, and you can see this town is pretty bustling. You'd guess upon entering it, it's probably at least several hundred people who live here. And there's huts and there's like houses and with thatched roofs, sort of stone foundations and made out of wood though. Like, the houses are made out of wood. The things seem pretty well constructed, just all out of like jungle material. And it looks like this is like a village that you would find almost anywhere in elven culture, but is very adapted for like the climate that it's in. So people are in much more like scant garb because of the heat and the humidity. There's all sorts of animals running around that you guys are unfamiliar with, small lizards and things like that, pigs and like wild boars and weird things. Lots of these weird little reptile creatures that are, kind of look like similar to the Allosaurus in the sense that they're like on two back legs, but they're only about like 8 to 10 inches tall.
Aw, compies.
And the kids seem to be like running around with them and stuff like that. And they seem to be all over the place. They seem more like dogs or cats here. So Tonray kind of leads you through the village. And him and his men eventually bring you to this sort of gated off area. And you can see it's a big yard that there's a bunch of men doing some training and stuff like that out in it. And you can see some pens nearby that have a bunch of these Allosauruses and stuff. And you can see this is probably their their headquarters, these scouts. And so they dismount here and tie their mounts up, and then lead you guys on foot up to this. There's sort of like a big hill in the center of this town. And there's various structures, like residential structures and stuff that sort of wrap around it. And then at the top, there's this kind of almost pagoda looking structure.
Oh.
Is that the word you're looking for?
Yeah.
Like Shishidos, right?
Yeah, kind of like Shishidos, but it's just like it. No, I'm thinking, yeah, like a pagoda, but it's just like, how Shishidos had like multiple structures like that?
Yeah.
This is just like one. And it looks kind of like, actually, this is exactly what it looks like.
Kung Fu Panda?
No, how do I show you just this picture?
Put it on Discord, and then I'll click it and show it to the stream.
Can I just drag and drop it into the Discords?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh.
Well, it's like I Googled it, but how do I find it?
Well, you can open that image and then just copy the image address and paste it in. Yeah.
Open image in new tab. Is that the way?
That's right.
Yeah, buddy. It's the artist's favorite right click next thing to click. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Fucking pagoda.
So that's what it looks like.
Yeah, so this is familiar to us in a way.
And so it doesn't take long for him to lead you guys up this place. You do see there's quite a few people around, and you guys are kind of drawing the attention of a bunch of these sort of other dark-skinned elves. They all everybody here seems to be of the same race. And so you travel up to the top of this pagoda, and standing at the base of it now, instead of you seeing all these doors, you're kind of at just this like front door area, and there's about 4 or 5 men not in armored up or anything like that, like in kind of like flowing like light colored robes, sort of all colorful but very various tones of white, but sort of in like some are blue, some are green, some are kind of yellowish. And they sort of like nod at you as you come up, and Standing out front, Tonri looks at you, Falyuan, and he says, "Wait here."
That was quite the journey.
What would you guys like to do while Tonri goes inside?
I guess we follow Tonri, right? I would
I
follow
assume
Tonri.
he's going towards the shaman, right?
Are you going to follow him in?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow him in.
I mean, did he point us to where the shaman is, or did it?
Well,
seem
he
like...
told you to wait here.
Oh,
Oh,
wait.
yeah, I thought he said we're here.
Yeah, so did I.
No.
I thought
He said
we're
wait.
here.
He said wait here.
Okay, yeah. Then I'll wait.
All right. Do you guys do anything while you wait? You see these men kind of milling about. They're kind of looking at you guys, but not like they're not like checking you out. They're just like kind of a little curious.
I'll do like polite nods and waves, but I'll refrain from talking to anyone as advised.
I will, since we're on top of it, I will take out my spyglass and continue to survey the area.
Yeah, so you look around and this town has a really good view of the island, especially from the top of this pagoda. You can see the jungle sort of like laid out in front of you. You can't really see any of the edges of the shoreline or anything like that from here. You can tell you're really in the center, like in the thick of the jungle. But the thing that you see that most dominates the landscape from here is that in the distance, there is make me a knowledge check, just like straight up regular knowledge check to see if you know what this is.
Is there a visual, Tom, that we can have up on Roll20 that's a bit more descriptive of where we are rather than a boat?
Yes, this will be perfect, actually. So, Falyuan, you're like, it's a mountain.
Wait.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. You don't want to just look at the boat, John?
Well, when you're talking about jungles and pagodas and mountainous terrain, and then we're looking at a boat, I feel like the audience is a bit disconnected.
Forget about it. Open image in new tab. That's the one. I can't remember. I gotta use that more frequently.
Yeah, it's a big one. I use it all the time.
I like inspect element and view page source.
Ugh, that's exhausting. All that code.
Yeah, but if you know what you're looking for, it's pretty handy.
Yeah,
Find a lot of 8K images.
Yeah, download the like the high reses.
Bear with me for a second. Keep bearing.
Ooh, it's all the same, no matter who you are. I'm really hoping Angel of Light isn't a bot, because it would be great if we were being watched by a Satanist right now. There's
I sure hope
actually a Church of Satan in...
I mean, we are a
Salem.
D&D group.
That's true. Yes, back in the 70s, it was believed that those into fantasy were those into the occult and the evil, twisted machinations of... I mean, I kind of am. I think it's cool.
Da, 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 this is where you are.
Mount Fuji.
So that's what you see in the distance. It's kind of like this volcano type thing.
But
You
to me,
imagine that that's where you were before, when you were up on this big hillside and there's kind of a mountain thing behind you.
Ah.
Oh shit!
That's where we came from?
Yeah.
Crazy.
He's dead, Jim. Well, since we're sort of just looking around and waiting, Val, we should teach them how to play Steel Rib before we leave.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
was dying from some juice.
Oh,
Oh my god, the juice is killing me.
betrayed by juice.
Okay, so Tonri comes back after a few minutes, and he's followed by this really old-looking elf. And this dude's like ancient. He's got some long flowing robes.
So for an elf, he
Excuse
must be
me.
like hundreds of years old.
Yeah,
If
you imagine,
he's
definitely
looking like that old,
hundreds and hundreds of years old.
possibly thousands.
And he comes out and he's got like an attendant with him, someone who's like kind of helping him walk along. And he comes down the stairs and he trips and does the Willy Wonka thing where he like tumbles.
Come with me.
No, I'm just joking. So he comes down the stairs a little bit to you guys, and the other men who are standing out front, they all sort of like bow their head at him and sort of just like move off to the side. Like now that this dude's is present, they're like, oh, straighten it up. Honor's here. So he looks at each one of you like, knowingly a little bit.
Classic
And then
Shaman.
Fal, he turns to you and he says in Elven, in, pretty nice dialect, "What brings you here, my son?"
You speak fluently. That is good.
You sound
We,
surprised.
We are surprised. We know not how we came here. We are from the land of Kel, and we were just trying to find water and safe passage when we happened upon Tonri, and here we are.
But what brings you here, my son?
I do not understand. I am on a voyage. I am going to the Isles of Verdun. Are
In
we
search
there?
of what? What do you seek?
Ooh, we're getting deep.
I look him straight in the eyes and I say, I seek to be worthy of my father and my family.
Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel?
He like smiles a little bit. You search for answers.
On top of that, I search to uphold my legacy, my father's legacy.
He kind of like his expression furrows a little bit and then goes easy. You make him proud.
Oh,
I hope so.
He walks a few steps towards where Viz is standing. You've come a long way.
yes. Not on purpose, but here I am, huh?
The powers are strong in you.
They were getting stronger everywhere. It's becoming worrisome. People are using it for evil, and we need to stop them.
You bring evil here.
Unfortunately. There's...
He looks over your shoulder.
What evil did we bring with us?
I
look
it's
over.
one of those things that like behind you is
Terry.
Josh Brolin.
Oh. He's not so much evil as he is just opportunistic.
Josh is like, "Hey man, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Henri sort of thinks about that for a second. And then he glances out at the mountain and sort of like lost in thought. And what do you seek?
It's been changing day to day, but really at the end of it all, I just want people to be safe. I'm tired of death, Henri. There's too much of it at the hands of people who wield too much power. We need to snip it in the bud, or we need to help people protect themselves.
He like lets his glance slide to your eyes. Protect them from what?
There's an evil, a large, a great evil. I can feel it on and off. When we were up north, it felt powerful. But people are trying to, a group is trying to bring demons into this world. We've witnessed one being summoned. It's a terrifying sight, I must tell you.
He like slowly nods his head.
That is what I seek to stop. Those who seek to taint our world with the blood of demons.
He, as he like walks towards Kenny and or sort of looks towards Kenny and Walden.
He just walks away from
and the
you.
rest
All
of the
right,
party.
cool.
No, and the rest of the party. He's sort of like he kind of glances at them and glances back to you. Well, so the Ice Lich rides again.
It would seem so. His name may
At
be
that
Baron.
the other like guys around they start to like they're like, wait, what is he talking about? And they seem to like they don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. And Unri he looks at you guys sort of like as a group. It's like there's something here. I think a reason you've been brought here.
You were saying this wasn't just strange weather?
He smiles and laughs a little bit. Well, sometimes the weather can get strange.
Whether it means to or not.
And when he says that, there's like a slight like rumble of thunder in the distance.
Oh, you show off.
And you can see like at that like his men sort of like smile a little bit like knowingly. And he's like, well, it's a place you must find here on the island.
Is its entrance behind a waterfall?
He like smiles quickly at that. So you found it once?
Yes, and then I got us all teleported to that mountain, and I point over there. By accident, I activated a trap.
He like smiles and laughs, and like claps his hands together. So it still works.
Did you put that there? You rascal.
No, but a trap I fell into long ago. Centuries now.
It's
You can see his voice sort of like trails off at the fact that it's been so long since he was young. It's like, but he like sort of gets back to it.
Snaps back to, yeah.
That's where you need to head.
All right then. Is there
Back
anything
to the
we
shrine.
should know about that place before we go back?
Yes, not to touch the crystals.
Well, besides that.
It will test you in many ways.
Okay.
I can't give away any of its secrets. But the Shrine of the Davari will tell you more.
Oh, the Davari. So we are supposed to be here.
I look at him and I say, "Are you sure you don't want to save us the time?"
He smiles again. Wouldn't that spoil the fun?
Do you know who the Davari were? What they were?
Are
Maybe potentially still?
The shrine holds the answers you seek.
Okay.
He like reaches into his robes, And he pulls out
His wiener.
I
exactly.
can still get it up.
No, he pulls out like a small pouch,
Mhm.
and it's almost like a Ziploc bag, you know. It's like a little baggie, and he pulls out what looks like a big granola bar,
Oh,
and he breaks it into numerous pieces, and gives a small piece to each of you, and then eats a piece himself.
I'd follow suit.
I'll also bite into it.
Yeah, he like looks at everybody else and makes sure that they also eat it. Um,
I nod, thanks.
he says some sort of a prayer in his native language, and does this sort of like, you know, equivalent to the sign of the cross type of thing, where he does like a hand signal type
Mhm.
of deal,
Mhm.
and sort of blesses each one of you. And places his thumb kind of like on your forehead, almost like on your third eye type of deal. And after that, he just sort of he bows to you and says, "Stay as long as you like, but leave the village in peace."
Of course, it is a beautiful village. We actually, as we're leaving, we're going to need supplies of fresh water and food. Is there anywhere we can find that easily to get onto a boat, as it is?
He turns to Tonri. Tonri, find these men valuable trade for their captain.
We will
They need to be
gladly
kept
trade
safe.
back. What do you require?
Tonri nods. It'll be so, Henri. And Henri sort of like turns back to you guys. It will be so.
Is there anything we can offer you? You've done so much for us.
He smiles. He says, "Your presence is enough."
Well, Henri, I'm glad we ran across each other, and I don't think this is the last time we'll hear of each other, is it?
Well, we shall see. He gives you guys like or he basically, sorry, I should say, he tells Tonri, to give you directions or guide back to the shrine. And he bids you both farewell. And he like begins to turn to walk back into the pagoda. Anything you guys want to say to him before he leaves?
Do you know where we are? And I sort of like
He turns
draw
around as
a
he's
rough
like,
map of the world out, like on the ground with a stick, just like the rough shapes of the continents. Like, where are we right now?
so you like say that, as he's like halfway up the stairs. And he turns around and looks at you and he says, "The Isles of Dragons."
What?
And then continues the stairs up into the pagoda.
And Viz is kind of left jaw gape open.
Yeah.
Dragons.
The Isle of Dragons. Do I can I recall my readings if I've ever heard of the Isle of Dragons?
So you've heard of there's a landscape area called like a region called the Dragon Area that is south of the Isles of Verdun.
And that's where we might be? What the hell was that storm?
Damn.
So let me see if I can pull up a map of Mithril.
Man, thanks for the fast forward, Tom. Saved us a lot of time. Sweet tornado fast travel.
I mean, it's not necessarily a fast forward. I mean, it's also kind of a, an interesting step.
I mean, this is where we needed to be anyway.
Let me see if I can find you.
I mean, not exactly. We still need to do your side quest stuff, Val. Your MacGuffin. Your Dujek's wife.
All
That
right,
coincides
I'm
with
gonna put this
everything.
in the. I'll put this in the
If the
Discord.
Davari thing's here, going to the island for dunes is really nothing to do there
I think
besides
you should be able to follow that, John. Let me know if that works.
Should I open it up for the stream?
Definitely.
That's up to you. I'm not sure if they get like a link or something like that. I don't want other people to edit it because it's kind of open.
Yeah, no, it'll just.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, no,
Do you know what I mean?
It won't show the URL.
Cool.
It'll just show.
Though it probably shows it in your Discord, but I don't know if you're broadcasting that.
I'm not.
Okay.
For many reasons.
So yeah, you can see where the dragon area is.
Okay, so we are there.
Somewhere in there. Somewhere.
That's where Viz, after he like shakes his head clear, and everyone's kind of looking around, Viz just like shoves his stick into the dragon area where it would be on like his rough sketch of the world map he did on the ground.
Yeah, let's say you guys have access to some sort of a map or something along those lines.
I just want to do it for dramatic effect. Have the like thing drawn on the ground and then like throw the dagger in like, how did we end up here?
Yeah, so you guys started. Let me draw this. Like.
Yeah, we're thousands
here.
of miles away from where we were.
And
24
you guys
hours ago.
imagine you're somewhere in. Oops. In like. Oh, let me draw a shape again. Just imagine you're somewhere in like this vicinity.
Wow.
All right, that's where Viz will dramatically shove his stick into the ground and be like,
Yeah, halfway around the world.
we're here now. How did we... What was that storm?
At that, Tonri's like, well, Unri has been able to provide some considerable weather in the past. You know, his conjuration of storms has kept us secret from the rest of civilization for a long time.
Are you saying he summoned us here?
Perhaps.
Huh. What a scamp. Well,
It's like, so he instructed me to set up some trade. And that I will. What's your captain looking for?
Food for 30 men and water.
Yes, that
And
roughly.
treasure, but I think we can leave that out.
We're not going to do the treasure. Unless there's...
What do you have in
valuable
trade?
prize. Yeah, we have jewels and gems and metals and... Viz will pull out that metal or that gem he had in his palm from before, and she'd be like, "We have things as big as this, if not bigger." If that piques your interest,
Does.
then we would be very open to trade.
Yeah, like what other kind of... Do you guys have any other commodities?
I mean, I just carry all of my wealth I carry in gems for basically this reason, and for magic.
And you imagine that, so I would say that Josh Brolin also speaks up and says that there's some stuff that Ringo has for trade.
I'll
So
offer up to trade up my my high quality orc spear and old armor and shield and stuff.
I will offer up some of Kenny's elven tobacco to smoke from. I'll grab a pinch of his tobacco and pack it into a pipe and share it with Torin.
yeah,
Tonri.
Yeah, Tonri's sidekick goes out and gets like the 10-foot bong.
Shit.
And they're like, "Oh, we know how to throw it down." It starts to like the party really fucking starts. And you're like, "Oh no,
What did we do?"
before you leave camp, you're so retardedly stoned. You're just like, whoa, everything's a great deal. No, so you guys carouse a little bit with the scouts. A couple of them liked you guys. I mean, you rode on back of the dinosaurs with them and stuff, so that was kind of cool. And Josh Brolin is able to strike a decent deal with Tonri as to what kind of goods will be traded back and forth. And Tonri's men are willing to do some trading of their own if you guys want to, trade between you and the scouts.
Yeah.
So there's their names are not necessarily important, but there's these, sort of Allosaurus riders, the 6 of them. And they have gear and weaponry and stuff like that's sort of in their arsenal. Fayun, what were you looking to trade?
I don't suppose one of those dinosaurs are up for trade.
He smiles. I would say, Tonri's sort of the one doing the deals. He's like, well, I mean, one of these guys is, quite our livelihood here, but be more than happy to trade you for an egg.
An egg?
Actually,
Yeah.
Fal would be quite, or not Fal, Viz would be quite interested in those little compies that were running around.
Yeah, we can get you one of those.
That'd be quite enjoyable. Are they hard to train?
No, they're domesticated, kind of like those wolves.
Oh, dogs.
Dogs. Yeah, dogs.
You like
That's
dogs?
it. It's like dags.
You like dags?
Dogs. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like dags. Yeah, I like dags.
Great movie.
I look at Tonri and I ask, what kind of egg are you looking for? Chicken?
No, he's going
He
to
really-
offer us an egg.
He's like, he raises an eyebrow. He says, "You misunderstand." Yeah, he brings you into the stables where the Allosauruses are. And he brings you into this little room, and this room's like pretty warm. And there's like 24 Allosaurus. And he points. He's like, "I trade egg."
Oh, they come from eggs.
He laughs a little bit. What you think?
I do not know. I've never seen these before in my life.
He laughs and clasps you on the back. He's like, "You have a lot to learn."
Apparently so.
Um.
Fal, remember, you'll have to sit on it to hatch it.
So one of Tonri's scouts, makes a trip into town. What kind of stuff do you guys have to trade? Because he's willing to acquire some stuff basically from people if there's things that you want.
I mean, I myself have 5 pounds of tobacco and a bunch of gems, so that's my main
They're more than willing to trade for gems.
deal.
So Viz, you trade them what's equivalent to 100 gold pieces worth of gems.
Okay.
For a copy.
Deal.
It is essentially because it can replace your familiar if you want.
Ooh. Can I just have it as a pet for now?
You can have it as a pet for now, but it won't be able to do anything
No, yeah. I just want it to be a set piece.
it'll just sort of follow you around.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want it to do anything actual functional, but it'd be oh, then my compy eats a piece of meat.
Yeah. Also, you might not be able to control. Have you played Divinity: Original Sin
Yes.
2?
Yes.
The cat in the beginning
Uh-huh.
is like that.
So it's
So it follows you around, but you have no control over it. So if you get into combat, he just runs away, but he can get himself into some shitty situations if you're not careful. If you cast a splash spell that lights a whole bunch of shit on fire and he's hanging out, you might light your compy on fire. So But if you want him to be your familiar, he would just replace Terry. Terry can still like, you can like go back to the boat or be in a cage or something like that.
It's hard to give up the talking familiar thing, because not all familiars get that.
Right.
I
But
like to stick with Terry.
there's also a lot of great things about having a compy.
It would be great. For now, I'm just gonna put a leash on it.
Yeah, I mean it'll follow you around like a cat.
I'm gonna put a leash on it. Because I don't want it running into an acid splash situation.
It seems to be less okay with the leash, just to let you know. It's more like a cat than a dog.
Yeah.
So, but you
I'm
can
like
keep
dragging it across the ground, basically, as it's like...
it does the thing where it like lays down and it's like...
Ugh, fine. I take them
But
off.
it'll stay right at your heels though. And you can give it basic commands of just being like, go over there, and it'll be like, "Meh," and like run over there,
I give him a little chunk of meat and pet him.
Yeah. He like purrs and like nuzzles into you, and like sort of wags his little tail.
How's Terry feel about the compy?
Oh, Terry's totally pissed.
Terry, I promise I'm not going to start doing a back and forth with myself.
Yeah,
but I assure Terry that he's still my favorite.
Yeah, Terry's like, yeah, whatever. Fuck you, buddy. He like flies off for a bit.
Find a better wizard. Oh,
He just perches at the top of the pagoda, and like if you were to get up close to him, it's just like grumbling and swearing in Cockney to himself, like, "Oh, motherfucking
sees a lizard, and all of a sudden it's a great new fucking thing."
Exactly. He's got his own like 3 personalities, where he's like talking to himself.
My Terry still loves you. I know Terry, but it's like it pisses me off that he just goes off into the new thing without asking my consideration.
Just and all Fowl hears from the ground is just like, he's like, shut that bird up.
Terry.
Oh man. All right. So Fowl, what were you looking to trade?
Thinking about it now, I would love to trade for an egg.
Yeah. He'll trade. He's like, what do you have?
I look around and pull up my Orcish Masterwork Spear. I pull out a bunch of gold. I do not have much.
Oh, he likes the spear.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's like, deal.
Yeah. Well, I no longer need it. It has served me well, and I hope it will do you well to protect this village as well.
Viz looks at your hand and your leg and is like, did it serve you well?
I am alive. That is all that matters.
True. He like, yeah, after handing you the egg, he like, he looks at you again. He's like, so what happened?
What did not happen?
Orcs happened.
Orcs, men with magic, men with axes, demons, dragons.
He looks at you then, Viz. Your shaman not heal? And like gestures from you to his leg, like.
Unfortunately, no. I don't know those arts. I only know the lightning and the fire.
I point to Kenny and say, he does not really heal so much as make berries.
And then we point to Billy Bob, who I assume is also with us, and it's like, here's our healer for the most part, but he wasn't with us while these were, some of these were happening.
Fowl, he looks at you and he's like, you hurt? Like, giving you like that all of a sudden he's like concerned for you, man. Like, at first it was all like business before, and now there's just all of a sudden that like soft tone, like, you all right, man? Like,
no one has ever asked me.
Break down. What's the gates are open? They're hard to close.
It hurts inside and outside.
I choke up a little when I say, sometimes I can still feel my fingers.
Oh, this is a
he looks down at your hand. And he obviously like, because it's on your left hand, right?
Uh-huh.
So he obviously didn't notice before because you've shaken hands with him with your right hand and stuff like that, and like, he's like a little bit not necessarily taken aback, but like kind of surprised. And he like puts an arm on your or like a hand on your shoulder, and he like kind of like comforts you a little bit. He's like, "Do you want help?"
What do you mean?
Viz is very interested to hear about this.
Unri healer.
Only regenerate?
He like he sort of just like leaves you guys for a second. And like you guys are kind of like left in the stable. Foul, you're like still like kind of holding this. He put the egg in this little crate. It's like 1 by 1 by 1, not even like it's like 9 by 9 by 9 like inches. And it's got like a bunch of hay and stuff like that packed in it. And the egg is sort of like packed inside there. He comes back about 10 minutes later with Unri into this like stable yard area that's kind of like at the base of the pagoda. Because this is where you guys were kind of like hanging out. And Unri like comes up to you, and he's like, Tonri says you're hurt.
I show him my hand. I tap my leg, and then I tap my heart.
He like takes your hand and like turns it over a couple times, and like kind of like sighs a little bit and shakes his head. He's and like kind of like motions for you to like roll up your pant leg and like starts like checking out your knee. He like bends it a few ways, and like it hurts like fuck, and he asks you if it hurts.
Like fuck.
He's like, is this fresh?
Very much so.
Within the last few days, yes.
Says this I can help. He looks like up at you guys. I need components. Viz, he looks at you.
Anything I can help with?
Something of magic. Component item.
Yeah.
Anything that holds magic power. Do you have something?
Well, I have my staff with the crystal in it. It could be used as a focus.
I unsling my bow.
Viz, and he like has you like hold your sort of like hold your staff, and he like holds it
Or
with
I guess
you.
it's a
kind
walking
of.
stick.
He like lays the crystal side of it like up next to Faluman's knee. And he like sort of places your hand on top of it, Fal, and your hand on top of it, Viz, with his hand. Like the three of you and this like crystal thing. And he like looks at both of you in the eyes, which immediately makes you guys like look at each other, and like
yeah, like what's happening?
Yeah, like what the fuck's going on here? And he starts to do some chanting in his native tongue, and Falyun, you can immediately feel like this warmth starting to spread through your knee. And it starts to get warm, and then like starts to get like hot, like like it's burning. And Viz, you can start to feel the heat as well from like that's coming from the crystal that's like right below your palm. And just when it starts to get like almost too hot to touch, it immediately like cools down in like this sort of like soothing cool. And Fal, it sort of like numbs the pain, and he like sort of breathes this like deep exhale, like a big like lets out a huge sigh. and you can see that his like shoulders like slump a little bit. And instinctively Tonri sort of like grabs
Yeah,
him.
Viz will grab him too and help him stay
Um,
steady.
and he sort of like stands up and like lets you have your staff back, Viz. And Fal, you can, you sort of like back off and your knee feels fucking fantastic. You're like, I could kick a mule in the face. Like, feels great. And, Henri seems like kind of weakened. And Tonri sort of picks him up and like throws an arm around him to like help him walk a little bit. And Henri, smiles at you, Fal.
I walk around and it just feels normal.
Yeah, it feels great.
I give him a stern look and I say, "What did you do and what can I do to repay you?"
He smiles a little bit. The trip to the shrine is in order. Find me a few things if you wish to return. And I might be able to take care of your hand.
Anything.
All right. If you wish to see your bones regrow, there's 3 things I require. I need the meadow lily. It grows on top of the mesa. I need a piece of horn of a tri-top.
I'm sorry, did you say tri-tip or tri-top? I am...
Tri-top.
Darn. Because I can cook a tri-tip.
And some white chalk from the cliffs.
Consider it done.
Some of these might not be easy to find. But if you wish to see your hand regrown, he smiles weakly. I might be able to.
Well, if there's anything magically you could teach me so I can help next time, I'd be more than willing.
Perhaps, Viz. Do you have yours to study? He smiles.
Maybe once this is all done, I can come back. Yes.
As like he sort of like turns Tonri around and they start to walk away, he's like, "You're destined for bigger things now," and he like sort of like hobbles out of the stable.
Oh.
So at that, Henri kind of leaves you guys, and so does Tonri. You guys sort of have your things that you've traded for. Traded your spear and some gems, basically for two dinosaurs.
Honestly, pretty good trade.
One in an egg and one in just a small compy. And Fal, you kind of got some good healing out of that.
Yeah, you'd
I
fucking...
can walk 30 feet again.
So Fal, it feels great. I mean, you'd love to have your hand back in full shape, and there's a possibility to be able to make that happen. So you guys, it's kind of getting towards afternoon. What would you guys like to do?
Well, since
You're
we
in
know we're
town.
going to be on this island for a while, as we need to check out that temple, should we spend the night with Ringo, tell him what's up, and start to prepare for temple trip tomorrow morning?
It would also be a good idea to let them know where we are.
I mean, that's the other thing, We'll be coming from the opposite direction. That alone's sure to confuse him.
Mm-hmm.
One of Tonri's men, is kind of hanging out. It's like, well, we can prepare shipment if you want to travel out this afternoon.
Sure. If it's something you can do quickly. How long will it take for us to get to the where I mean, I don't even know where to tell you our boat is, but
Oh, we know where you are.
oh, yeah. How long will it take to get to there?
Um, mm, 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Get there by nightfall.
That sounds good. You can
Um,
Okay.
stay with us. Camp. I don't know if Ringo will let you on the boat, but I'm sure you know these areas well.
that's quite all right. We can travel home in dark. Um, we shall saddle everything up and get moving in half hour.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
He sort of goes off and tells some of um, the other scouts what's going on. And you guys kind of like, you hang out at the stable. Is there anything you guys want to do in town, or are you just going to hang out in this area?
Mm,
This will like shop around for little like trinkets or like things that maybe the town has that he's never seen before.
Yeah, are you going to explore the town?
Yeah, why not? We're here, and we're waiting for people to get stuff. So until that happens.
Val?
I do, but I remind everyone he told us not to mingle.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know if that was before we met the shaman and became buddy buddy.
All right, so what would you guys like to do? Just want to be clear.
I'm going to mingle around the town.
Val?
Um, if I can hang out with his writers, and if we can, if they speak the same language, then I would like to learn how to properly raise my egg. And
Oh, yeah, you can get some advice.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, over
instruct.
the next so perfect. So over the next like half hour, 45 minutes, Val, you get some basic instructions on like how to care for this thing.
Okay.
Like you got to keep it warm. Eventually, it's gonna hatch. Once it hatches, you got to feed it meat, and then they give you some like basic instructions on how to like what's gonna need to happen with it. And they give you a booklet on how to train your Allosaurus, but it's in Bonbi or Bonbin. So it's in their language. Um,
That's no problem. I can translate that for you next time we're
exactly. So somebody might be able to translate it for you, but you're like, okay, like this might be helpful.
Definitely. Thank you.
Um, Viz, you head into town, um, and begin to mingle a little bit.
yeah.
So you're gonna go like to try to find some of the shops.
Just yeah, like little like stands or shops or if they have like street food or like little trinkets that I've never seen before, like necklaces or something.
Yeah, why don't you make me a investigation check as you kind of look around town for
Making my way
something of interest.
downtown, trinkets pass,
Perfect, 23. All right,
walking
so
fast.
you're walking around town. You're definitely getting some looks.
Hmm.
You're it's one of those things. You're very white.
Yes, I
Nobody
mean
else is.
that's something John also can feel.
Yeah. So,
Being such a
everybody's
worker.
kind of, some people are giving you the look of like, you're weird looking.
Hmm.
Some people are giving you the look of like, why the hell are you here? And other people are giving you a look of just like, like interested.
Hmm.
Um, so going through, you find sort of like your normal, what you would find at you feel like your normal like village market type of square, where there's local fruits and vegetables and meats and stuff like that, most of which seems somewhat familiar. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where you're like, okay, these are kind of like apples or kind
Okay.
of like oranges, like they're not that different. They maybe are like a slightly different color or slightly larger. You know how like there's different kinds of avocados and stuff
Yeah,
like
and there's
that.
like
And
blood
like,
orange and
yeah, so like they just look somewhat different, but otherwise they're relatively similar. Um the meat, half of it looks really weird. Um
because it's probably lizard stuff.
exactly. Yeah, you're like, that's definitely lizard type weirdness. Um but then there's the stand that has all these really interesting looking like necklaces and stuff like that. And this is the one thing that like catches your eye. And so the guy who's selling it is like best described as a whack job.
Okay.
You can tell this even though he's of a different, it's like one of those things. It doesn't matter what race you are.
Yeah, crazy
If you're a whack job,
translates.
yeah, exactly. Crazy spans all races. And so, he's got like, in addition to having these necklaces, which some are made out of like precious metals and stuff and are like intricately carved in like the shapes of weird like dinosaur skulls and things like that. He's also got lots of bones and things like that hanging from strings and like beads and necklaces and all sorts of weirdness. And when you come up, he starts talking to you immediately in Bonby, and begins like rattling this little like shaker of beads and stuff like that towards you. And you can, as weird as he is, you're still caught by these necklaces.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out. Is there one like in particular that, or is it just the general area?
Hold on, one sec.
Should I describe what the necklace is that caught my eye?
Hold on, I'm gonna actually describe them to you.
Ooh.
Just need to.
Also, when we get back to the boat, I think I may call it there. I'm starting to fade.
I feel the same way. Where is this stuff?
Do we still have our only bot viewer base?
Okay.
Oh, who is Zane Keyber? Zane Kyber? Wait, is this a real person?
Maybe. Hopefully. But so
No.
the main thing that is of interest, there is one of the necklaces that are hanging there, is sort of how would I describe it? It's kind of got a silverish goldish chain. Like it's kind of like one of the clasps is silver and the next is gold. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of like alternates.
Mm-hmm.
And then the medallion that's hanging from it is like a golden sphere, rather, sorry, I should say a golden circle, and has what do these look like carved into it? Has two hands. Like it's got a bunch of like words carved around it in looks like some sort of arcane script, you would imagine, but maybe in a different language than the one that you write in. And then it's got two cupped hands carved into it. And floating in the center of that is what looks like a sun.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's a hell of a amulet. Yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that it's like it's crazy looking.
Is the sun a gem of some kind?
No, it's just all carved into the metal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll point to that and ask how much in Elven.
All right, so he he then his interest is piqued. He's like, you speak Elven.
If you couldn't tell.
You like the amulets, huh?
Well, this one seems to have caught my eye, yes. Okay. What do you usually sell these for? I have gems, and I pull out
gems, huh?
I pull out like a, maybe like a 10 GP worth gem out.
This is rare.
Yes, very rare. The necklace or the gem?
He he glances like side to side. The necklace.
Oh, right. Yes. So more? You want more than this? I'll pull out like a 50 GP gem.
Mm. Mm-mm.
So I'll pull out like a 20 next to that 50.
He hanger that it's on, and
Oh, sorry, Tom. You
a
cut
little
out a
bit.
ton just
Oh my!
there.
Oh, that was weird. I see my voice connection dropped. Can you hear me now?
Yes, but
Yep.
yeah, you'll
Okay.
basically have to restart what you just said.
Yeah, so he grabs the necklace off of the little stand that it's on,
Mhm.
and begins to like kind of dance around you with it. Um, and he says, "Not for all the gems in all the lands, nah." And he's like, "What do you have of value?" And shakes it back and forth a little bit.
I ponder, and I pull out a vial of squid ink, and I said, "This was captured from the largest and most vile squid the ocean had ever seen. Cast upon a boat trying to tear it asunder, we exploded its face, and then I sucked the ink from its pores and captured it in these little vials."
Ooh, make me a perception or a persuasion check. I
I
would give you advantage because of the sweet story, but it's just ink.
Yeah, it's
So
literally Oh my god.
perfect. He immediately like tosses the amulet up in the air, and snatches for the vial.
Perfect.
Do you let him have the vial?
Yep, and then I grab the amulet out of the air.
Yeah, he like runs back around the other side of the counter and like pulls out this little stand and sets the vial in it and like pushes it to the center of his counter and it's like ha, and starts to like rearrange everything around it, totally oblivious to you anymore. Like he's forgotten about you and the amulet he traded you.
Viz looks at the 3 other vials he has in his pouch and like just whistles and walks away while he swings the amulet around.
Yeah, so everyone kind of like takes a look, is like definitely like looking at you now, because you've dealt with the crazy man too.
Successfully.
Yeah, successfully. And so that's about the same amount of time you sort of, Falyuan makes his way down to you with the other scouts. And you sort of catch up with them in the yard where there's sort of been a wagon train that's been assembled. And it looks like they're almost kind of like sleds that go through the forest. And they're being pulled by these big, like kind of hulking looking dinosaur-like creatures. They walk on all fours. They're like more like the size of like rhinoceroses.
What do their heads look like?
I don't know, kind of like square and chompy.
Okay.
They're like random dinosaur that probably doesn't actually exist.
Okay. We'll just say they look, like chunky dewbacks or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. And they're sort of like, I'd imagine they're each like about 8 feet long, probably about 3.5 feet wide, and like 4 feet at the shoulder, like tall. And they're just like big hunking animals with like each foot is like 10 inches across or so. So they're like kind of like elephants or rhinos in that way, just like huge feet, big solid animals. And they're all like linked up to like pull these wagon trains that there's like about 30 I'm sorry, there's like 10 barrels that are loaded onto it. And then there's like probably about 24 crates that are like stacked up into these these 2 sleds.
Ringo's gonna be fucking pumped.
And there's like maybe about 6. Let's say there's 6 guys who are kind of like leading these animals. 2 of them are walking on either side with spears, and 1 is driving each wagon train. And then you've got the Allosaurus riders who kind of leading. And they sort of mount up and begin to bring you guys out of town, and that's where we're going to end things for the night.
Can I do one last thing along the way?
Definitely.
As we get to the beach,
we're not going to get to the beach yet.
Okay.
We'll pick up the beach next time. Is there something? Do you want to like write something down, or like is there something specific you want to do?
Yeah, I'll just make a note of it for next time.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely do, because there's going to be some discussions when you get to the beach. So
okay.
And I do want to save that for next time.
Yeah, definitely.
But awesome session tonight, guys.
Very good session. And thank you, potentially.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Zane Kyber and Angel of Light. Well, no, probably not Angel of Light.
All bots.
But yeah, this has been a good time, man.
Yeah, man. This has been a great time.
I'm just gonna put this in for recording's sake. We do this every Sunday, 8 to 11. Come by and quest hook. And we are ending the stream in 3, 2, 1.